How are we doing? Hello, hello, hello. Should have good audio. I do a pre-stream or pre-record audio check 95% of the time. And it's always the occasional time that I don't do it when I have the audio issues. But Tuesday's audio issues have been resolved. In fact, let's keep that over here. I worked out what the problem was. Not that anyone massively would be interested, but when I added more cameras over the weekend for last weekend for the event, basically it pulled audio in a weird way. So even though I had my microphone on the right settings, it added an extra set of audio that was coming from a video recording device. Pain in the backside. Genuinely took me about 45 minutes to fix, but I have fixed it, and here we are. Whereas my Cathay Wave 2 make it so? Who knows? Who knows? I thought they said initially that Cathay Wave 2 was coming and the FAQ was coming at the same time as it, but when I've gone back and checked the video, it doesn't say that. The Warhammer community post. Now, either this is a Berenstein Bears situation, and it's just a little bit of mass delusion, or they've edited the post. And I haven't been able to ascertain which of those is the case. I had to look on Wayback Machine, but it doesn't seem to be in there. So it's entirely possible that I'm just a fool, and that my expectation of Cathay coming with the FAQ was wrong. But it can't be that far away, surely. In fact, let's have a look at when they talked about it. I don't think they said... Oh, hold on. This is the wrong web browser. To make my life easier, I use a different web browser for Fix My List, because then I can get to it. Okay, so it's not that. Where did they talk about it? Here we go. Preview. I'm not recropping the screen, so apologies that you'll only see half of it. Just trying to see if there's anything in here that tells us when this is meant to be coming out. It says where it's coming. I don't think it says anything in there, does it? Alright, I don't think there's anything in here that actually gives us any real information. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Alright, well, good to see you all. How's everyone doing? We've got Dan Raymore. You've created 36 High Elf lists. Hell yeah. I have yet to create what I call a real contender list. Yeah, there's a bit of a problem for High Elves. The short version is Double Dragon, the cheapest core you can get, and then Sisters of Avalon or something else exciting like Lothan Skycutters or Dragon Princes. If you want to go down the direction of whatchamacallums, let me make the chat a little bit bigger. If you go down Trace, the Tracian Woodsman as a list direction, I think that is a more exciting way to play High Elves at the moment. It always snaps into a spot I don't want it to. There we go, chat can sit there. I do want to make the background on those a little bit darker, but I'll work on that another time. Gustav's here. Good. Wood Elves. Wood Elves indeed. Big fan of Wood Elves. Richard, shut up. You always tell me I'm late, and I'm always streaming at the minute that I said that I would start at. It sounds to me like you're the problem, so shut up. Evening Doctor. I don't know if I've got a doctorate. In fact, I know that I haven't got a doctorate. Good to see you, that rat bastard. Good evening to you, Existence. Spartan's here. Hello, hello. The number crunchers on Warhammer Fantasy Battle thing will be this weekend. Okay, cool. I don't know. I don't really have any enthusiasm for this Cathay Wave. Like, I just don't think it's going to make anything. It's not going to move the needle on anything, so I don't really care. Like, it's fine. It'll be cool that it comes out, but it's not something that I'm waiting for longingly. I was when I thought that was when we were getting the the rules, the FAQ. You're here for the Dark Elf rumors. Is this the right shot? Yeah, I saw that Games Workshop. The community post. They're like, "Oh, eye emoji or whatever it was." I am taking no stock in that, but that's because I have an established position of no legacy coming back in first edition. I'd love to be wrong, but if I am wrong, that's great, and if I am right, that's also pretty okay. Hey Paul, how you doing? It's been a while since I've seen you. Are you down this weekend? I'm not doing anything this weekend. There is an event at the TSN Arena, so I'm probably just going to poke my face in at some point over the weekend, or not bother if I just can't be asked to get out of my chair. Got a couple of things I want to achieve. Hello, Jacko. Caleb's here. Good to have you. Mr. Assyrian. Lots of lists involving the Cackling Blade tonight. I love the Cackling Blade. It is my favourite of all of the new magic items. It's so nice to have an actual magic item that can be... An actual magic weapon, sorry, that can be used. You seem to play defensively. Would swapping out my Squig Hoppers for a Chariot help? I don't know. Squig Hoppers, I think, work pretty well defensively, Chris. You can just whack them behind a hill. Feel pretty happy about that. Because they don't actually have to be aggressive. They can just sit behind terrain. Make it hard for people to come towards you. How do you feel about Bretts with no pegs at all viable? No. You can play them. Like, you can play Bretts without Pegasus Knights, and you can probably do okay. But in terms of actual strength of the faction, the 360-degree charge of the Pegasus Knights and the massive range of them just gives the faction its strength. Like, Bretonnians without Pegasus Knights are much better than Knightly Orders, but it's more in that line of, like, well, all it does is charge, and honestly, most of the cavalry is underwhelming in some respect. You can tool up the characters to do a lot more, though, so you can get some value out of it. But I wouldn't play them without pegs if you're trying to do well at a tournament. If you're just playing for fun, or playing with friends, then yeah, absolutely. You don't think foot-based ballistic skill shooting will make a significant impact to the meta? I do not. I will say, I think that the peasant archers will be good, purely because, Bretonnian peasant archers are quietly one of the best units in that army. But you just don't think about the fact that you've paid 75 points for 15 skirmishers with bows, or whatever it is that you want to put in your list there. Hello from New Zealand. Good to have you. Must be your morning over there. Jack says, discover the battle. Hunger points cost wasn't updated on a world build. The Wolves of the Sea army went over the points limit. No worries. I'm not actually sure. Did we get to your list in here? Might not have even got to your list, Jacker. I am, as always, plagued with the really nice problem of having more people interested in having their lists fixed than I have time to do, unfortunately. I did have one person who signed up for YouTube membership to make sure that they had their list looked at over the on the stream, which their list would have been missed if they weren't a channel member. So congratulations, Spartan. Thank you for posting a neat role, making sure that I saw that. But yeah, usually it's just a case of if you get in early and you didn't have your list looked at last stream, then you'll probably be alright. Yeah, I'm so tired. Between sort of like 4 and 5, just sort of lay on the bed face down, just without the will to move or get up. I was like, it was full on, when you've been doing stuff or whatever, it gets to like 1 or 2 in the morning, but you're still like, I don't know, maybe you're driving, you're a long way from home and you still got to go. It was that level of like, fuck, I just haven't got any energy. But I've hit the caffeine and I'm back. Now, do I have slight regrets for what that's going to mean for my ability to go to bed? Mayhaps I do, but that's fine. That is fine. Hashtag pay to win. It is a little bit, yeah, it is a little bit pay to win. In that it's just nice to give back to the people who support me. That's how I'd like to frame it. It's not that I'm asking you to pay for the benefits, but if you do support me, Speaking of, if you want to become a channel member, if you become a channel member of Longbeard tier or below, or above even, there is access to the VIP section on Discord, and also you get priority on Fix My List, which is nice. I should really update that in the what you get section on there. And also, if you're interested in becoming more gooder at the game, I do coaching as well. Go to patreon.com/close order, and, you know, if you want coaching, that's where to find me. Cool. Your list was fixed 2 weeks ago, and you discovered today it went from 10 to 20 months. Ah, I'm with you. All right, let's get into it. So, there was a high elf list here for Giles' high elves. I'm assuming this is not the Dan in chat who has come up with 36 high elf lists, but this list is square-based comp with a double dragon. It's high elves, so 2,400 points. Thinking about taking something like this to a local tournament, open to the list being mixed up as you see fit. Double Dragon feels spicy, but you're the expert. Change as desired. Cheers. You are welcome. So, Double Dragons is, I would say, unfortunately, almost a prerequisite for playing competitively at a tournament level. Obviously, all of the list fixing, if you're just playing more casually with friends, you can do what you like, and you can, you know, if you want to play stuff that's less good, if you want to play, I don't know, just Clan Rat Skaven, you can talk to your buddy and say, hey, let's do something a little bit lower power. But assuming we're talking tournaments, I feel like Double Dragon is kind of the main power lever that you can pull if you are looking to play high elves. So, what have we got here? So we've got two princes, both on dragons. One of them has got Armor of Calidor, Seed of Rebirth. The other one's got Talisman of Protection, Seed of Rebirth, full play. Okay, so both of them have a 4-up save in combat or a 3-up save against shooting. Oh no, they've got Cavalry Spears. Ooh, I do not like a Cavalry Spear here. Is there a way that we can change the points on this? I feel like I don't even love the halberds, honestly, but they are better if you get locked in combat. So, Talisman of Protection, Seed of Rebirth, Opal Amulet. Opal Amulet's great for that once per game 2-up save. It's not really Monster Slayer that we're looking to avoid anymore. It's more making sure that we don't get got by cannonballs. So, yeah, I guess we've got no points to spare here. This is the best weapon we can give it. All right, don't love that. I will change this one over. So, in fact, the tankier one, which is going to be this one here, we'll leave that with the Cav Spear, and we'll upgrade this one to Halberd. I just think it's not a huge difference, but you can go hand weapon shield if you're really worried about needing the armor save, which you're probably not going to be because you've got triple save and an Opal Amulet. Or you can just go for the halberd and get a little bit more punch. So we'll make it so that the one with the halberd is not the general, because they're slightly squishier in combat. Okie dokie. Then we've got the Starweaver, Lore Familiar Dark Magic. We're really going to want a power scroll on this. I like the Stormweaver. I'm actually a big fan, and I think it's an interesting way to juice up the core here. So I actually really like the approach you've gone for. I think you've ticked all of the right boxes. I find the core super underwhelming, but I think the choices you've made are good. The Dragon Prince are obviously great, although we'll make some tweaks here. Sisters, obviously great. I like the loadouts here, although maybe we'll tweak them around. But, yeah, so we definitely want a power scroll, because unfortunately, unlike the Archmage, you don't get the free reroll, the Blessings of Lilith. So you really, really need some level of consistency. Because if you're trying to cast Word of Pain... Now, Word of Pain you probably just throw dice at and you don't bother to power scroll, unless it's something like you've got a dragon versus dragon combat and you just need to swing it in your favor, which is, you know, a really good place to throw a power scroll in. It's probably going to be Battle Lust more than anything else that you're looking for. And often there's going to be a turn where, like, I've set up for it. If I don't get Battle Lust off, this is actually quite bad for me. Example, if you're trying to crack like a brick of Graveguard. So, Power Scroll, super important. We've got the points for it. Let's go there. Alexander, the Discord is linked down below. And what I do is I open up the submissions on a Friday morning. And there's a couple of sort of like, it's a little bit first come, first served. If you're a channel member, you get priority. And if you haven't had your list looked at in a previous, like the previous stream, also you get priority. But if you join the Discord, linked in the description box, on next Friday, I'll put a ping out when I open up the Duty What's It. It did, Matthew. Again, I should push this more as like a, not even push, but even just mention it more, because you are a channel member. Muchos apreciado, appreciate you. Yeah, you obviously get higher priority on there. You were slow. Hey, if you give me money, it doesn't matter. I've never had it where a channel member has their list missed as long as they haven't had their list looked at the previous stream, because there's never been 13 channel members that have submitted their lists. Of course, there is always time. And you're welcome, Alexander. All right. Enough self-shilling aside. So, we've gone for Power Scroll and the Stormweaver, so you've got the consistency, and then we just need to tweak some stuff around. So, I don't know. I've been a Ruby Ring of Ruin apologist for quite a while. I feel like I'm kind of out on Ruby Ring. It's theoretically great, and then it just doesn't feel like it does much for me. I think it's better on Sisters because of their long range, but then it's also arguably worse on Sisters as well because of their long range. So the things you're shooting at, you might not be able to get, a Ruby Ring of Ruin off on anything that matters because you are so far back. I really like Bow of the Seafarer. I think it's very good. I think there are going to be times that your opponent gets an overrun with cavalry, and that really sucks for them. Or if you want to shoot into anything that's, like a monster, that gives a little bit of a threat there into enemy chariots. This has such a good damage profile that it's almost always good. Even if you're doing a single shot and you're fishing for like, oh, maybe I can do a wound into a dragon. I'm only wounding on 5s. A lot of the time, go straight through the armor. If they fail their armor save, multiple wounds. Or if they don't have any monsters, they've probably got cavalry. So if you get a flank shot on that, or if you go into a lance, that's great. Or if you're going into infantry through and through, cool. I killed like 4 models. That's about as good or better as I'd expect a Ruby Ring to do. So I just think this is a really solid weapon. You have to pay more for it, but we'll find points. In irrelevant news, Ruby Ring and Battle March is wildly OP. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't necessarily have super strong feelings about how people should run their tournaments. I think if you run an event, you should have a fair amount of agency to do what you want. The one thing that I've tried to convince anyone who I've talked to who's running one, less like TOs and more like people running casual slow grow leagues and stuff like that, and even saying like maybe you should tone down your list if you're not going to like a super cutthroat tournament, is you should not allow magic missile items. They are way too good at that points level, and it just makes the game not interesting. I could write a list and just be like, I've got 2 to 3 magic missiles, boom, amazing. Aren't I so clever? Look how easily I've won the game. That, in my mind, is very dull. Because I think small points level tournaments are something that people should do more of. I think they're, in my mind, playing 5 games at like 750 points is more interesting than playing 3 games at 2,000 points. And I come from a very privileged position in that I'm in Nottingham. I could go to a tournament, if I wanted to, I could probably hit a tournament every weekend. Or at worst, every fortnight. I can, at minimum, hit once a month without having to travel. I can just roll down to the TSN arena. That would be super easy to do. So, yeah. But still, I think there should be more Battle March tournaments. I think they're a really fun concept, but also, I think, let's not piss about. Let's make it more balanced by removing the skew and make it so there's actual skill involved in it. Yeah. I want to do more. There's one I've got my eyes on, and I'm trying to I have convinced my friend to go to. I should buy a ticket pretty immediately, actually, because they're going to sell out. In fact, hold on. Let me just go and have a look if it's still there. You know what? While the 54 of you are all here, let me just double check that I haven't missed the boat on this, and that I'll still be able to go to this event. Let me just see how many tickets are still remaining. Fuck. Damn it! Oh no, that's really disappointing. I was going to go to the February 28th TSN Arena Foray number 4. I think my friend might have bought his ticket as well. Ah, bugger. Bugger. Alright, it's fine. It's fine. I will deal with that problem later. Crap. Gonna have to send some messages to Craig to apologize. I could still go down. Anyway, that's not why you're here. Right, let's have a look at this. Yeah, Giles, your list was already great. I'm just tweaking the itty bitties. I like 7 here. I think it might be, let's go down to 6 on both. I'd love to put ambushes on one, but I just don't know how we get there. Also, I don't think we need the Ring of Fury on the Dragon Princes. The Dragon Princes, they already have a lot of Strength 5 AP2 attacks. If you need that extra 2d3 Strength 4 AP2 attacks, which are inconsistent, I feel like it's more that it's just you've picked the wrong target. We will upgrade this Lion Standard, though. I don't think Lion Standard is the way to go. I think it might be Totem of Wrath, honestly. 6 Dragon Princes with Totem of Wrath and Magic Resist 2 feels to me just like a really solid standalone unit. How the hell we're going to fit that in? Well, I don't know. We can drop the Musician. We don't need the Musician on the basis of they're drilled. So most of the use case for Musician is out of there. And we're bringing enough damage that it should hopefully not matter. Did I manage to put Ambush in? Oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to fit Ambush in here. I like Ambush. You don't even have to deploy them in Ambush. You're just paying 6 points to give you the theoretical choice of doing so. What are we missing then? All right, what can we drop to get here? Honestly, I would maybe even be tempted to drop the short bows here. And I'd love Musicians. I actually think I'd be tempted to drop short bows because I find them to be so ineffective. But, oh, you haven't got shields. That's the sort of mistake that only a Muppet would make, like me. Me, the Muppet, who didn't put shields on their Wild Riders, which didn't really make a difference over the course of the weekend, although it would have been nice a couple of times to have better saves. You know what's really annoying? If I drop short bows here, I'm still 1 point over. Oh! Making this fit is difficult. I think maybe we drop the Musicians on the Silver Helms, and we drop the short bows on the Silver Helms, and we put a Musician in. That gives us 5 points to play around with, at which point we still don't have enough points here. We could, if we wanted, go 7 and 6 with the ambushes. I'm not gonna. I could tweak this list for, honestly, for another 20 minutes. I love playing around with high elf lists and Bretonnian lists specifically. Those are like my 2 favorite to just tweak. But I think this gets us to roughly where we want to be. Let me just post this up here. I'm on the classic triple screen setup. I'm glad to have it. And I've put Discord way up here. You can't see it, obviously, because you can't see my screens. You can't see my screens, can you? I'm watching you. You haven't got any more cameras in my room. You weirdos. Anyway, my light that I use to illuminate is directly over here. So I think I need to change the location of that because my eyes are blurred. All right. What do we got? Richard says I love Fix My List because it's so off topic. Yeah, they're my favorite streams to do. Hey, Steve, long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Someone will drop and Rob will let you have a ticket. Yeah, probably. But also, if nobody drops, that's my own fault. Yeah. Top 2 Wargamer. Yeah, I'm always number 2. Eh? That's what you'd like to say. Halberd to Cav Spear again. I could do that. That's a very good point. I don't want to do it. I hate Cav Spear. The Prince attacks of Rupture in general is the Dragon Protection. He's not bad. Keep in mind that if you go into a challenge, you have to make the Prince attacks first because there's no way to give them strikes last. Obviously, you can give them a great weapon, but it conflicts with your strikes first. So the Halberd attacks and the charge are like not bad into infantry. Strength 5, AP2. It's pretty okay. Hey, Richard. Happy Mardi Gras. Is it Mardi Gras today? What is... You know what? I'm so English. I don't actually know anything about Mardi Gras other than alcohol festivals and beads. These are the things I know about it. Also, Mardi Gras is Tuesday. All right. I will. I will educate myself on my own time. Very well. Come back on Tuesday, Richard, and wish me a happy Mardi Gras then, please. The big day is Tuesday. Oh, is it a multi-day festival? No worries. Paraffin Bill, is that you for Giles? Yeah, just as a side note here, like this unit of ambushes can really mess some people up. It gives you easy access to baggage train. If you're playing against an aggressive list that doesn't want to come forwards, especially now that it doesn't block line of sight, but it does block movement, if you can just ambush in behind the baggage train, destroy it, and you're like, I'm just going to stand here and shoot you, and it's really hard for you to get back to me, that's a very frustrating experience for some people. Starts January 6th, but this is the biggest weekend. Huh! Alright, I will educate myself. Mardi Gras seems like a fun festival. I don't... Do we celebrate Mardi Gras in the... You know what, I'm back on my bullshit. Mardi Gras 2026 UK. Hastings Fat Tuesday Festival. I'm not going to Hastings. I'm definitely not going to Hastings. It's all just Hastings. All London. Well, that's no good to me, is it? I'm not going to London. Also, this is just a gig. Ah, right, fine. I can't believe you got me off topic. On this oh-so-focused stream. Oh, so focused. Cake with a baby in it, now that's Mardi Gras. I don't understand, and I'm concerned. Pancakes. Is Mardi Gras also just Shrove Tuesday? Oh, okay. I had no idea it was the same thing. Ooh.
Need to send you some more hobby house pics. Soft opening invite only today, but I couldn't make it cause of the distance. We will need to do an old world event on the south coast at some point.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Thanks for the invite as well. God, dickhead. Steve has a gaming shop, or is as part of a gaming shop. Details. There are details. But that's very cool. Hobby house. Yeah, looking forward to seeing how it goes. Yeah, I'm just gonna stay away from the baby and the cake because I have no idea what's going on. So instead of letting you derail me, you bunch of bastards, let's go to talking about another list. You know what? Let's rag on Richard's list. I swear Richard said something in the VIP lobby about... I forgot to schedule the burdened... Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. I read that wrong in my head. It was the Wolves of the Sea list. I thought you were playing Wolves of the Sea with the Taskmaster's Scourge. Hobby House is the name of the new hobby shop, which I'm just Googling because I've completely forgotten where it is. It is in... It is in a place. It is in a place. I'm gonna let you remind me where it is, Steve. I'll be honest, I'm so northern in my attitude towards the south, and I apologize, this is bigoted of me. But anytime someone says, like, it's around here, I'm like, oh, cool. It's just the amorphous blob that I consider the south. You won't find it yet. Alright, cool. Don't look for it. Don't look for it. I'll tell you when you can look for it. It's in Southampton. Yeah, it's even got South in their name. No wonder I couldn't remember it. Wait, Nottingham is in the north. No, Nottingham's... As far as... So, Nottingham's the Midlands, but... Because of where I was born in Hartlepool and then moved to Durham when I was about 3. So, I've lived in... As far as England goes, I lived in the north. I kind of consider anywhere south of Middlesbrough kind of southern. Now... People from York don't like that. You know? They'll be like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Calling me a southerner? That's not on, that isn't. I'll have pies for breakfast. And I'll be like, yeah, but you live in the south of where I was born. So that makes you southern in my eyes. York is the north, you know. Well, it depends from which perspective you're talking about. If you live near Newcastle, everywhere's a bit south to you. This explains a lot. Yeah. Yep. All right. Sound. All right, let's have a look at the south is below Sheffield. Everyone south of the polar circle lives in the south. Very nice, Beth here. Yes, you win on that one. You do win on that one. Also, any Scottish people wanting to chime in could also call me Southern, and I would just have to take it, frankly. Yeah, see, this is the argument that comes up, where we all just sort of go, actually, the Midlands doesn't exist. The South or the North is an amorphous border that suits me, and it's just basically my little bit of the world is what I consider the North or the South, and then everything else is other. And I wonder how tribalism came to be. Don't forget the Langs folks as well across the Pennines. Everyone does. It's fine, they're used to it. Always wild to me that Brits talk about all of these bespoke areas that take up less space than Arizona. But we've got everything crammed in. Like it's not a flex to have space when the space is just miles of field. You have entire states, and I'm in no way an expert on America, so apologies to any Americans that get caught in the crossfire here. But I have it on good authority that there are a couple of states that are just there to be driven across, and all they have are fields, and like. That's the whole point of a couple of those states. Technically, people live there, but, you know. Isn't England miles of field? Yeah, but our fields are small, and also there are houses around them. A country could be the size of 2 villages. There'd be a north, and the people from the other village would be unwashed barbarians. Oi, that's not true, unless I live in one of those, in which case, yeah, of course, absolutely. Absolutely. We've had centuries to build up these petty resentments. 100%. 100%. Congratulations on the early Valentine dinner mark. Nebraska for sure. Definitely a drive-through state. I actually don't even know if that's the one I was thinking of. But I could not name all of the states. I know there's 52 of them. But I mean, you know. My grasp on American geography is about as good as your grasp on UK geography, I would assume. Which is, you're aware that it's got bits and pieces. And roughly where certain parts are, but maybe not the specifics. We have houses around the US fields, it's called the coast. Yeah, it's always interesting. Like, Australia's a great one for this. You look at the... There's not 52 states. Okay, never mind. I know incorrectly that there are 52 states. Where was it going with this? Yeah, Australia. If you look at the population density of Australia, like that's the most extreme place I can think of in terms of all of the population being literally on the coast, which is understandable when you think about what the rest of the country is and how inhospitable it was before modern worlds, modern technology. Hating the French doesn't start yesterday, my dudes. I don't know. I've never really hated the French. I've definitely come full circle on it. I'm just envious. Their attitude towards political unrest, you know, something happens they don't like that. we motherfuckers, time to burn it down. I am very jealous of that. But envious, I should say, not jealous. Montana has a population density of 7.8 square miles. So there are, for every population, there is a whole 7.8 square miles. It's pretty big. I don't know what it is in the UK. Should we talk about some Warhammer? Right, I'm getting back on track. Let's talk about Richard's Wild Herd at home. This isn't Wild Herd. Okay, first note. Your core is very light. You don't have anything, like, you can't hold herd stones and objectives anymore with the same unit. So I feel like you need more chaff in here. The gigantic spawn are fine. So what have you gone for? You've gone for a great weapon, bedazzling helm, full plate chaos armor, slug skin. Okay, so you can't even get to a 2-up save on this character without using the hand weapon shield. So if we're doing this, I haven't got a BSB as well. I'm not I'm not down. Like, now that Viletide casts on a 9, I'm not down to spam level 1 or level 2 casters if we're not talking Wild Herd. Even in Wild Herd, I think there is a conversation to be had there. But, like, this character here, and it's gone. We don't need that. It's not bringing anything. It's bringing an inconsistent ability to cast. I understand you have to reroll. I'm still not down for that, personally. Level 2 Power Scroll, Lore Familiar, Demonology. Great stuff. You've got to have that in my book. Jagged Dagger Elementalism. I guess this gives you more consistency on getting the spells you want, which is fine. Sure. We want a Wargore in here. Wargore BSB. We're going to give it the Slug Skin. Pardon me. Charmed Shield. I'd love to have Magic Resist on this as well. We need to take off the Slug Skin here. I don't know if we can get MR in. And I want a banner as well. So we've only got 46 points, which is a problem, because I want to put some other things in. Standard-wise, you've got Monster Hunter Tapestry here. I'd really like the Beast banner. I think in terms of points, we're going to have to go with Monster Hunter Tapestry here, because it's cheaper. I hate having it on this model instead of the Gore, but I think that might just be a sacrifice we have to go with. Honestly, I think we have to drop down to a level 1 here. It sucks that we just don't get the second spell we want, but I don't know a way around that. Because we need to go... We can drop the shield. And we can put Gnarled Hide on here, which gets us to that 2-up armor save while still using the Great Weapon. I think if you're doing the Doom Ball, you have to actually threaten to use your strength while still going with a couple of big hitters. Yeah. Okay, so this looks better, and we still haven't got the MR2. Oh, I'm going to give the Wargore Smelly Tracks. I hate it because it's only MR1, but the MR2, AP1. The MR2 is very good. We have 2 points available. So this gives us MR2 on the brick, gives us a very fighty character, although arguably less fighty than the Black Maul character. Like, is this better than just going... I guess you can't go Black Maul and the Chaos Armor because it's not Wild Herd. I'm just not... Like, this Doom Ball doesn't really spark fear. Yes, 5 attacks is incredible, obviously. Strength 8, AP2. It's pretty cool. Rerolling ones to hit, rerolling ones to wound. Maybe you get Frenzy, yada yada. All of that's kind of neat. But it's just not like a Black Maul situation. Yeah, okay. So, this is the best version of it, I agree, but it's still not... Is it the best version? Do we maybe just drop the Bedazzling Helm? You'd be -2 to hit. Do we need -2 to hit? The problem with the -2 to hit stacking is you're only weapon skill 6, so that gets you to a 5, but it requires you to put a lot of commitment in. Because instead of doing that, you could just go with the like Axes of Korgor, potentially, or even the solid, Scimitar of Skultar, I think is more exciting because your Strength 6 AP1, but we're gonna give it the Gouge Tusks. There we go. What's the initiative? Initiative 5. Okay, we don't have the points to give it an Uncanny Sense as well. Like, this still feels better to me. It still gets you 2-up save, and yes, you're only Strength 6. Which will not matter into all of the infantry you're fighting. You've got the same AP into the infantry. I think you've got the same Armor Bane as well. Armor Bane 1. Yeah, and it's multiple wounds too. So it's just like a very punchy character. Okay, that seems better to me. And our characters split there. 50 gore's a nice amount, but we are lacking in things. I think the Harpies are just going to go. I really like Harpies. I don't think there's points for them here. The problem is, if you're doing Wild Herd, you're paying like 189 points for a unit of 3 Dragon Ogres. You're not paying for the second unit, so the core is really suffering. I think we have to drop the Razor Gore. In my mind, now that you can't hold an objective with a unit that's also holding the Herdstone, I feel like a Tusker Chariot is almost like a necessity for me, if you're not going for something like Primal Warherd. because it is the cheapest / toughest way to hold the Herdstone with like unit strength 5, and it also provides the impact hits are nice, but it's first charge that's really impactful. Yes, you do have it with gigantic spawn, so it's kind of less important here, but I think it's just the best way to get unit strength 5 that isn't going to fall over pretty immediately. I guess you could argue the Harpies are doing the same job and they can hide behind it, but I just, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on that as a concept. I also want more units. So ambushes, I think, here are nice, but we just need more Ungor. If we go... I mean, I want 3 units of Ungor, right? But how the hell are we getting the points for that? So we don't give them all ambushes, that's for sure. We're playing Beastman, we're not getting the +1 to go first, that's fine. And also having them at 10 means that they're likely to just die to shooting immediately. So maybe we... I mean, this sucks. I want more than a... I want 3 units, not 2. But if we go to 14 with like a unit champion, and we don't give him ambush, and then this unit's got to go down to like... Oh, we're losing a lot of models here. Losing a lot of models. We also don't really have points for the Scourge the Burdened with the reserve move. How many models do we have to drop to get that in? Because it is very good. 39. I mean, 39 is playable. I'd play around with like 30, 31 to 35-ish. But it would be nice to have more models in here. But yeah, I think this is your Wild Herd at home. But I also don't think this is better than Wild Herd. So, if you're looking for specifically just the best version of Beastman, I'm not sure this is it, Richard. The context here being, I know that Richard is a competitive player. Someone I do coaching with. And I don't assume he's looking for a worse version of the meta list. But thank you for throwing that together. It's interesting to look at and see if there is any way that... No, any advantages. The gigantic spawn, I think, are nice to have in that list. I just feel like it's hard to fit enough stuff in. The Doom Ball as well, being as expensive as it is, kind of sucks. And it just doesn't... It's not as spicy as you want it to be. But, yeah. Alright, cool. Cool as einen Cucumber. That's definitely not real German for cool as a cucumber. Let's have a look at Matthew's list, because I've seen Matthew in chat recently. So this is a second attempt at Wood Elves. That wouldn't be a complete shocker. You can make with the Lost Kingdom Moriel's range. Thoughts appreciated. Love to include a Treekin, but might need to save them for casual games. Second caster would be easier if it was a unicorn. Nice. You're 10 points shy on the core there, bud. But that's okay. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. So, let's have a quick look. Lost Kingdom Moriels. So, I do need to just double check anytime I make a recommendation that there is a model available for it in the range. So, we can do Sister the Thorn, we can do Wild Riders, I'm assuming from that as well. We've got Elves on Foot, we've got Trees, we've got the Warhawk Riders. Man, if only there was something that this unit represented. Cool. Points cuts mess me up. Yeah, no, fair. That's fair. Okay, so, just to, like, top to bottom. Dragon Elf, great. Spellweaver, good. I'm not actually sold on the Heartwood Mist Pendant. I didn't come up against the thing it was put in to play against, but it just performed poorly in most of my other games. And then Captain on Stag. I think, like, all of these models are solid, but, like, maybe we tweak around with the loadout / spell lore. In terms of the core, sure. I'm not sold that Sister the Thorn actually do anything, unfortunately. I think they're a pretty solid bunker if you want to put a Cackling Blade character in, but I also just don't know that they are particularly worthwhile here. So if we drop those, Wild Riders I think are solid. They're just very hard to use / you need to have good matchups for them. I didn't get much use out of them in my games of the weekend, but partially because I was trying to protect them because they had a 6-up save instead of a 5-up save, but also on top of that, the issue they have is they're very, very good at cracking Death Stars, and I didn't play against any infantry Death Stars. there were the Slayer Death Star actually, but they killed a load of dwarves. They didn't just died on the crackback, which is what are you going to do? So I think they did what they were set out to do. It's just they didn't have much use for them. I like them in a list. I definitely like them in a list. Sisters are annoying models wise, so fine to drop them. Hell yeah. Yeah, so I'd go 6 Wild Riders personally. I think if you're running this sort of cavalry unit, just that extra couple of bodies makes a big difference. If you can protect them, you can always get 6 into base-to-base contact with your enemy. Even in Martin. I wouldn't bother with Standard Bearer or Musician. I do like MR1 on them. Like, that felt good over the course of the weekend, just for basically Ruby River and protection. It doesn't make a meaningful difference into actual spellcasters a lot of the time, especially with all the pluses to cast, but I think it's a solid thing to give them basically Ruby Ring of Ruin protection, because when they get hit by a fireball, you just lose 5 of the models, and that really sucks. Yeah, no, the Stag Captain is... Oh, Stag Lord, I like him. It's just reminded me of the guy who was giving me grief for taking a dragon instead of a Stag Lord, or double Stag Lord, or whatever it was. Things have changed. When I was really pushing for that character, the meta was different, and also you could take an Ogre Blade and also a Talisman of Protection on the same character. And even with Cackling Blade, you need a lot more support to get that off now, so it's harder to use and have like a really fighty Stag Lord than it was before. Alright, Warhawk Riders, I like the concept on, but I think unfortunately they are not particularly great outside of... So I like them in theory as a screening unit if you're playing the Orion's Wild Hunt. That's where I can see them having a place. I think that's the thing that I would put them in for. Because if you're doing that with the Furious Charge, they've just got that enough oomph to actually get in and do something. The single attack that they have, I think they are a lot of points for a basically naked model that doesn't do enough, unfortunately. Treekin as well, I am unfortunately not sold on. What if you want to go like a fancy model? I do think the Tree Man is not bad. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the be all and end all, but if you're looking for an anvil, which is kind of what the Treekin do, I think the Tree Man does the same thing but better. It's the T6 is nice. Yes, you only have 5 wounds. You've got a 4-up save. You've got a 5-up regen. There are some stomps in there. You've still got stubborn built in. I think there's a lot of like good parts to the tree man, and if you're going for something anvil wise, I would say Tree Man over Treekin, which is a shame. I've espoused multiple times that I really like Treekin. Currently painting up 5 Warhawks. Well, you better be playing Orion's Wild Hunt. Okay, so we've shaved a lot of points here. We do need to go slightly bigger here. So this unit has got... Have you got Banner of Springtide? That's the quick shot one, right? Yeah, I like this. So this unit is good. I really like unit champions on this unit of Glade Riders. Partially like the +1 ballistic skill is just nice to have, making your shooting a little bit better. But also if you ever get caught with the spell waver in the unit, you can just tank the challenge and you'll feel good about it. Your Warhawks or Owls, Dragons will be a big row. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, and you definitely want a Musician on this unit, because it's the sort of unit that will be running away at times. So you want to have the +1 to rally, 100%. Even with Fire and Flee, because sometimes you're just going to flee. Oh no, it's not Fire and Flee, is it? I always get these ones mixed up. What's the name of the... Feigned Flight. Yeah, it doesn't have Feigned Flight. So you definitely want a Musician in there for the rally. Does Orion's Favour give Magic Resist one of the Wild Riders, or do you mean Obsidian's Lodestone? I did mean Obsidian Lodestone. I definitely didn't mean Orion's Favour, but if I said that, that is wrong. Okie dokie. So, this character, what do we got? Okay, so you don't need a shield, because you've only got light armor, and the Forest Dragon has the full plate. So, if we're doing anything, I think just the classic Armor of Meteoric Eye and Talisman of Protection is a really solid combination. It's hard to beat this for the dragon, honestly. As much as it's nice to play around with, like, I have tested around with Mantle of Rebirth, because that is better. Like, honestly, that's probably better in this meta, because the Mantle of Rebirth gives you a 5-up regen, so it gives you durability into Viletide more than the Meteoric Iron does. However, a lot of the strength in this model is just not losing wounds. So when you're going into a challenge, it gives you, like, if you're saved on a 5 up, 5 up that's unmodifiable, you're just feeling good about how combat goes. You're giving up a lot less combat res than your opponent who might be leaning on a regen save. But otherwise, this is classic. Spellweaver, level 3, Steed. I think, honestly, like the Hardwood Pendant, I know that as soon as I take it out of my list, I'm going to play into Undead, and I'm going to be really sad. I think just Battle Magic with Lore Familiar Power Scroll, Ruby Ring of Ruin is going to be more valuable. Just lean more into doing the ranged output, and staying away from your opponent, I think, is probably going to be better. So we'll go like that. I also would go 8 models here. That way you have to drop down to only a single model to give up, you know, be unable to rally. The 25-point break, 25% break points is nice. Cool, cool, cool. Is there anything else we need on this unit? Not massively. We've got the luminescence on the dragon, so we can't put it here. And then this stag. I really liked the stag with the Icon of Fortitude. So this didn't come up in any of my games, but I still do feel like being immune to multiple wounds gives this model a real spot, because in this list there's not really anywhere for it to go. It can go with the Wild Riders and add some punch, because we're not giving it the Wild Rider kindred there. But yeah, also let's upgrade it to a Charmed Shield. 5 ward save is always nice to have. Boom. And yeah, we don't need to worry about giving it magic arrows. So even if we just don't put anything on here, like, I think the Tree Man, just as a straight swap for the Treekin, is solid. We still need something to protect the Wild Riders. Is there anything in here that would suit as here we go. I guess these are the elves. The owls. Those are cool. And like I was saying before, if you're playing this casually, then obviously do as you wish. But I think I just don't see Warhawk Riders in Grand Army bringing enough to the table to be usable, unfortunately. Okay, what I would say, and I don't know how you fill the gap, maybe it's the little fox here from Lost Kingdom that you use as your Beast Pack Deepwood Hound. That might be the way to do things. Because just this squad here with 1 Beastkeeper and 1 Hound, that is, in my estimation, the best way to protect the Wild Riders for the price. It is frustrating in that it doesn't have Swift Stride, so you have to think about it ahead of time, but that would be the way that I'd go. And then in terms of the points that are remaining, I actually think it's hard to build Wood Elves, right? Because it kind of feels like everything just doesn't do enough. You can figure out Beast Pack, hell yeah. I would be tempted to just say, you know what, let's go a second unit of Glade Riders. And this unit is going True Flight Arrows. It doesn't have the Standard Bearer, so they're only 164 points. And then take the points out of probably the Deepwood Scouts. I like them, I think they're very good, but they're also just, you know, probably not going to stand on an objective in a meaningful way, because they're naked elves. And if you have 2 units of Glade Riders, that's easy to do. Like, this is the bias that I would go towards, and I think the Tree Man could be kind of anything. You could go for a second unit of Wild Riders if you wanted to, if you wanted to put more juice in there. What is the toughest 250-point character you can make across all armies, or what? It's probably going to be something Warriors of Chaos or Beastmen, I would assume. Anything with, like, good inbuilt toughness and a ward save. Oh, no, it's going to be like a fucking Cathayan Shigangan character, probably. Because you've got the built-in, what are we even talking here? I'm not going to, like, go out my way to build it fully, but something like a Shigangan General. Level 2 illusion, 50 points of items. You could give it like a meteor hammer or something like that. 229. It's got a T5, 6 wounds. Or you could even, you know what? Actually, if we're talking literally just toughest, you're going to stack the Guardian Fengshi Bow on there, -1 to hit. So you stack that with illusion, so you're -1 to hit as well, -2. And then we've got 15 points remaining, which... I actually don't know that there's anything in here that I super care about. Biting Blade, maybe just to give you a little bit more oomph. Yeah, something like that. Sub 250 points. Really hard stat line to get through with the 3-up save, the 5-up ward. Also the T5 and the 6 wounds. Very mobile. -2 to hit in the combat. That's probably it. I would struggle to think of much that could go toe-to-toe with that and win. Especially if you roll Spectral Doppelganger with your Biting Blade. Eee! Like, it's probably not going off, but it does. Whoop! You're winning that head-to-head. Alright. Cool. So I do need to link this list. So I think the thing that I want to try is just try to bring more bows is probably the next shout. I know there's been some success with Waystalkers and Waywatchers. I'm not convinced that that is the way to go. My bias is more towards more mobile shooting, but yeah, something along those lines. I think it's just difficult to get a lot of value out of. Like, anyone who watched the streams over the weekend see that Wood Elf shooting just unfortunately doesn't do the damage you expect it to. So I want to play some sort of mobile shooting list, but I think I might just use the same models and play some Trace. That might be more satisfying to me than playing the same list, unfortunately. We'll see, though. We'll see. Cool. Alrighty, then. Paul was saying... I don't know if Paul's still here, but this will be your first time using Bretonians. Hell yeah. You'll be running these at a square-based comp event. My aim for the list is to be as competitive as possible and get more models if needed. Any advice or changes would be welcome. Are you trying to say that this isn't going to be 200 Noblars? Okay. So we're going Grand Army. Grand Army. I think there's a real consideration here to whether you just go Errantry Crusade. I think there's a lot of benefits to Errantry Crusade. I think the core is a lot worse, which is a shame. But you're welcome, Matt. I think Grand Army's not bad. I think it just has worse matchups into some of the things that are very good in the meta at the moment. Okay, so if we're looking at this, we've got 2 units of Pegasus Knights, and this is something that I like as a build. I would be tweaking the loadouts slightly. I think one of the things that you can do is give 1 unit... you've got Shallant on the Paladin. Hell yeah. So if you're going down the line of Errantry Crusade, and if you can make the points work, it's harder to do because they increase core. You can go for the Errantry Banner. I wouldn't be putting Errantry Banner on this list because you don't have Veteran to reroll that Impetuous. But I think this is solid. There's also a consideration for Banner of Honourable Warfare, and you just go around and you try and punk the enemy missile units with just the small unit and no characters in there. But, you know, there is room to play around. So let's have a look at the list here. Okie dokie. Virtue of Purity. That's the ward save, right? Okay. I don't think Virtue of Purity is necessary for Grand Army. I really like it for Exiles, actually. Shout out to Vincent for Team Netherlands captain, who brought it to my attention, because it's 30 points. It's like Talisman of Protection, but it comes out of a non-Talisman slot. So if you want it on a Cackling Blade character, you can do so. Also, you've gone for the Grail Vow here, which I don't think is necessarily necessary, but it gives you always get the Blessing of the Lady anyway. Sure, you only get a 6-up save if they're Strength 4 or lower, but that's not super impactful in my mind. So we can drop the Virtue of Purity there. I'm not 100% sold on that Grail Vow, but we can leave it for now. In fact, no. I'm going to drop it. I really don't think you need it. You're always going to be praying. You don't need the Immune Psychology. You don't need the Stubborn, because Stubborn needs to be for the entirety of the unit, right? Yeah, so Stubborn characters don't give you it, so you're not getting anything there. You've got magical attacks or from the magical weapon already. So let's just stick with the general, normal Knightly Vow, Knightly Virtue. Knight's Vow. Okay, so I personally am a big fan of putting the Ogre Blade on this character. There is a discussion to be had. What do you value more? Do you value the Strength 6 on the Cackling Blade, or do you value the Strength 7 on the Ogre Blade? I kind of feel like you don't win head-to-head with monsters even with a Duke, a lot of the time, because you'll do the damage, but then you won't kill it in one go, and then they'll just kind of stomp you to death, and that sucks. It's hard to get. You can't get a good weapon and also a good save, so that's a problem. You can combo the Ogre Blade and the Syrian's Locket on the Duke, but you can combo the Cackling Blade and the Syrian's Locket on the Duke as well. My personal bias is that you get more value by going Ogre Blade here, Virtue of Knightly Temper on the Baron, and then relying on the higher base stats of the Duke, where you're going. It's not loading for some reason. You've got Strength 5 already. You've got the 5th attack, so the Cackling Blade, in my mind, gets more here. But it's not the end of the world if you want to run it the other way around. It's just I personally think that this is stronger. There are also, theoretically, if you wanted to, you could go for like Virtue of Confidence. Now, this is something you have to play around, but getting full rerolls to hit in a challenge is just valuable if you want to go down that line. There's not really much else you could go for. You could go for, is it Noble Disdain? Yes. Just on the off chance, spend 10 points. If your opponent's got any missile weapons, a lot of things have missile weapons. It gives you conditional rerolls to hit. That's not bad. A lot of the time, you're going into stuff that might have hit roll rerolls. So, Noble Disdain is fine. I don't put it in my list, but it is an option. If you go with Confidence, you can also, want to make sure that you go for a Gauntlet of the Duel, so your opponent can't refuse your challenges as well. Now, you don't get a pick who accepts, but it is good to have so they can't put things to the back rank. Okay, so we've got these two characters here, and then we've got the Banner of Shalons, Lance, Shield. Again, we don't need Grelval on this character. Magical attacks are nice here, but it's not necessary. And then you've got Virtue of Discipline. What on earth does that do? Okay, so you are a flying unit, so you can always march. You don't need to have the Virtue of Discipline on this character. It is, on a Pegasus. Okay, and we're not going to give it the Grummel Greathelm, because what we are going to give it is Magic Resist 2, because Magic Resist 2 is very, very strong in the meta at the moment. Hold on a second. I'm fixing your list. When's this for, Paul? I'm probably going to have to play you. Why am I fixing your list? God damn it. I've dropped the ball here, haven't I? Oh, I've really dropped the ball. All right. Anyway, that's fine. We can probably upgrade this damsel to a prophetess now with the points that we've got. So you've gone Warhorse, Law Familiar, Elementalism. I don't hate that. Like, Elementalism is fine. Do I want Elementalism? I don't mind a prophetess. I've just closed. Okay, so a prophetess and a horse is okay. What am I thinking? Like, honestly, I don't know that Elementalism brings much, especially a level 2 Elementalism caster, because anything that matters is going to have good AP, like in your list, matters has good AP. You've got the Totem of Wrath unit, they will go in, the Lancers are AP3, the Ogre Blade is AP3, the Cackling Blade is AP2. That's just enough almost all of the time. You're not relying on a bad Elementalism caster. Yes, it's nice to get the Earthen Ramparts, but I don't think that matters too much, and also, yeah, I don't feel like Elementalism's adding much for you. I think if we're going for a caster that's on a warhorse, so it's obviously joining the Lance of Mounted Knights, why not let's just go Illusion, go whole hog? Because you can go for like quite an effective punchy wizard that adds a lot to the unit without really any risk, because Bretonnians can retire to the rear rank and still do their spells, specifically Spectral Doppelganger or assailment spells, which is the important thing. But you can go for a very cheap and effective character in my mind. So Sword of the Stout-Hearted gets you to Strength 5, AP 1. Obviously, that could be better, but it's still pretty good. It's got Armor Bane 1 on there as well. And you can also then pick up Sacrament of the Lady and a Law Familiar. Sacrament of the Lady is just better than a Power Scroll because it gives you a flat +2 to cast, which is a lot more consistent and less likely to make you reroll. Where am I going? Law Familiar, Law Familiar, Law Familiar. Like so. I actually don't know that I even care about this. In my mind, I think this list wants to deal with enemy, like, light skirmishing units I'm more worried about, in fact. So I'm actually going to take that off, go Battle Magic, and just remove the Sacrament and the Sword of the Stout-Hearted. We can keep the Law Familiar, go Ruby Ring of Ruin, and I think you're going to get more out of this by going Fireball, Arcane Urgency, third filler spell. Depending on what you want to go for, there's a lot of things that are good. Oaken Shield, because it's just going to be on foot, either the Peasant Bowman or with the Unit of Men at Arms. Both of those are fine. Or you can go with, I mean, you can, if you're playing to Undead, you can go with the, whatchamacallit, Pillar of Fire. It's not consistent, but having another chance of sniping out those enemy pesky Banshees is nice to have. So that's probably what I'd do there. Not having a banner here kind of feels rough, but also I don't know what banner I'd put on it. Because you are Grand Army specifically, so maybe we just leave it. Alright. This unit probably wants War Banner. If you're taking the Lance, one of the advantages it has is it's a small frontage. It can put all of its attacks into like an enemy BSB or something, and then also you bring some like reasonable combat res. The way that it works is you have to be... Is it 3 wide to get a Lance, or is it 4 wide? I always forget. This one? Lance formation. Gosh darn it. I know you only have to be unit strength 5. Or, yeah, unit strength 5 for a Lance, because they didn't update it when they updated Close Order. But I can't remember how much combat res you get. Lance formation. Why is this so complicated? Do you hear Dark Elves are coming back? And they're going to have a bunch of useful rules that High Elves don't have. I wish that I could believe that level of cope. God, I wish. I wish. I would love to. Love to. Okay, so it's +1 for each rank that contains enough models. So you're only getting +1 rank then if you're unit strength 10. Fair enough. So it's more the bigger units. But anyway, War Banner is really nice on here. And then we just need to... Ooh. I'd like more models in here. But I guess it's not the end of the world just going... Can we go to 26? Double unit champion's really nice there. But I don't know how we free up the points, honestly. Not having any characters to join this does make this unit significantly less exciting. Maybe we just go with 6. Like, maybe that's the way to do it. At which point, this becomes a meteor unit. The points just don't sort of play out the way that I want it to. I guess to get where we want to be, we just have to sacrifice a couple of wounds here. I'd rather the units of peasants were much bigger, but it's what we've got. It is what we've got. All right, I like this version of the list pool. The main thing is we've put magic resist into the unit that's going to matter. If you're playing against Valtides, just make sure you definitely put those units, those characters, in the correct unit. There you go. Cool. Alrighty then. How many lists have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a reason that I've dropped down to only doing 12 lists, because I want to chat, but I also want to pay attention to the lists. Alright. Let's have a look here. You know what? I want a palette cleanser. Let's have a quick look at Vaker's Jade Fleet Battle March. It's a Jade Fleet list for a 650-point Battle March tournament coming up. Trying to avoid balloons, that's fair. Also kind of not super easy to do at that points level. Only 1 skirmisher and maximum 1 magic missile allowed in lists. Normal Battle March limits also apply. Single 0 to 1 per 1,000. For example, 5 missions, most with capturing objectives. Okay. Is this set up for Battle March? Okay. I'd have thought that this is too big. Is it? Alright, let's have a look here. So the 1 unit of skirmishers you've got is the unit of Empire Archers, right? Not scouts. I meant specifically skirmishers. So the archers are the unit of skirmishers with Vanguard, and they've got scouts paid for as well. Then you've got a Shigengan General at 650 points. That is brutal. That is a beefy character. We were talking about what the cheapest character you could go for would be. I think you don't even need to really worry about going specifically for illusion here. I don't think we've got points to put the Guardian Feng Shui bow on, do we? I think that's too many points. Yeah, that's too many points. That's a shame. That would make it very solid. Okay, but that's fine. So we've got the General with the Celestial Blade, which is the better one. Yeah. And then we've got a level 1, Law of Yang, Battle Magic. The Law of Yin's just a worse signature spell, right? 2d3 strength 2. They have Arbor Bane 2. If you cast an 11, you're never casting an 11. Yeah, it's better just to go for Battle Magic. Okay, so yeah, this is a very effective character. Is it worth going for the Dragonfire Pistol? I feel like they're only Ballistic Skill 3. Yeah, I don't understand. Feels like they should be Ballistic Skill 4. Okay, so I think the only thing that your list is really missing is a Magic Missile. You said you can have 0 to 1 Magic Missiles. I think you should take the Magic Missile. They're very, very strong at this power level, and you take it to a tournament, so you want the best version of your list, right? Here, the Jade Lancer wants to be... Yeah, so you're just going for a unit that's going to do damage in combat. At this power level, honestly, you can probably get away with that. And then the Archers... So the Archers won't be able to score, because they're not core. I don't know how much I value this unit of Empire Archers. Honestly. Like, what's the cheapest? So we could put in, like, a... Okay, well, I need to remind myself what special rules we get on a strategist and a... Let's have a look here. So a strategist gives us specifically... I don't know that they're super useful for infantry units. It gives you mini BS or mini general range, and you can fall back in good order instead of following up. That's good specifically on the balloons. I don't think it works well here. You can reroll your test to restrain. Okay, sure. And then you can reroll panic. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And then if we look at the gatekeeper, it's just easier to read them on here, I find, than look at it in the... We've got the reroll panic. Okay, so it's basically the same. It's just that the gatekeeper actually is slightly more melee focused. So, like, I would go... Your generals... Oh, it's because I put the wrong character in. I put a gate master in. Oops. So a gatekeeper with specifically... I think it's probably... Like, I know Ruby Ring of Rune's good. I think it might be Ring of Jet. Partially because it's cheaper, but also Unquiet Spirits is very solid. It still casts on an 8. I know it's a shorter range, but 3d6 strength, 2 hits is... Oh, that's great. Is it maybe a Cathane Warhorse? Like, is that the way that we tweak this? Like, I think... I mean, we're already over on points, right? So it's probably just Celestial Blade. Drop these Archers. And then drop a little bit in core. We're 26 points over. I think I don't want to touch this lance. I feel like this lance is... You need it to be as big as it is to get as much out of it as possible. This unit, because they're heavy infantry, it can be 4 wide. And you can go get your rank bonus. I think you could go down to 13 and still like lose one. It's not solo models that you worry about here, right? Let's go down to 40, 13. I don't think I value the halberds here. I think it would still be the shields for me. So if we go down to like 6 here, we just need to shave some slight points. It's really hard to trim points at this level, I find. I don't want to drop it down to a lance. I think this character is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting. This has got... Oh, it's on a warhorse. I think we can drop that down to the lance and save the 2 points there. Yeah, there we go. That would do. But I think this is solid. So you lose a couple of models here. You've lost the mercenaries, but obviously mercenaries can't score objectives. Everything can score just units from 5+. Oh, I had forgotten that for Battle March. I still think that the magic missile is more important to have. Honestly, I still would back this. I need to remember how to spell this. Boom! There we go. There is the Battle March list. Lovely. Started playing with Cathay release. I feel like running Cathay creates such distress. Like the idea of coaching, but many YouTubers crap on what I run. Would you be different? So I think Cathay. The problem with Cathay is they were objectively a problem for the game because they came out at a power level that was so far above everything else that if you played like uncomped Cathay, and it not being addressed by Games Workshop caused a very negative effect for the scene. I feel like where they are now, they're still going to be a very strong army, but I don't see them having anywhere near that level. I feel like they're now probably falling to the number 2 spot, and people are going to be a lot more focused on undead. But in terms of, like, would I crap on you in coaching? Obviously not. That's not something that I think is helpful to anyone. I did coaching with, I don't know if Ed's still here, but we did talk about, you know, what he wanted to run and the strengths and negatives of it, which was not just necessarily what is the best list, but also what you wanted to bring. But if you're just looking to run the most powerful tournament list, then yeah, like you're well within your right to do so. The criticisms I have for Cathay are not really the players. It's basically the game creators, and then after a while filters down to, I guess, the tournament organizers for not doing something. You haven't even begun to cope. Dark Elves are coming out with the same time season 3 of Mindhunter comes out. Is that officially cancelled or something? I just don't watch TV, so I'm woefully disconnected. But I do see entire films pop up via the medium of YouTube Shorts. So, you know, I know all of the important things that happen in many films. Alex, I think the Errantry Crusade list didn't make it in, unfortunately. I was saying at the start, I'm in a very fortunate, I have a very fortunate problem, which is more people are interested than I'm able to get to each week, unfortunately. Okay, so let's go with... Let's have a look at this Orcs and Goblins list from Skaven Spawn. So, this is a pretty standard list, and it just needs a little bit of refining. So it won't take long to go through. Basically, it's triple Night Goblins, double Doom Diver, characters you might expect to see. So it's all of the usual stuff. I think there are just some tweaks that I'd like to see. The main tweak that I've looked at, I feel like I want this unit of Black Orcs to be a little bit beefier, but also I think the big red raggedy flag, that's probably just like a straight swap to Monster Hunter Tapestry now. I've talked about my feelings on Monster Hunter Tapestry and how I feel like I've changed to probably wanting it. Wanting it on. But yeah, no, Mr. Osiris says, I think you should just do all Friday, Ed, from the minute you wake up until the minute you drop, nothing but fixing everyone else's lists. Yeah, that would be... I think I've talked about this already. So, like, and I want to be very clear, I'm not fishing for donations or anything. Please don't give me money because I've mentioned this. In terms of time spent for, like, what is worthwhile, this is the least worthwhile thing for me to do in terms of it being supporting, like, you know, spending my time doing something to make money. That said, it's my favorite one to do. It doesn't have to be something that I spend, you know, I make a lot of money on to be worthwhile for me. I love these streams. I like sitting here for 2.5 hours and just getting to talk more directly to chat, go off topic, be a little bit more unhinged. It's great. So it's worth it for me on that basis. And like I say, not fishing for donations. But like, under that angle, it doesn't make sense for me to try and cram more stuff in or to go for longer and enjoy it less, because it's not something that you could do and be like, this is worth on a financial basis. It's just something I do because I like doing it and I have a lot of fun with. So for me, that sort of like, look at 12 lists, I think is a great sweet spot. I just do always feel a little bit guilty that I can't get to everyone who is interested. Matthew, no! God damn it. I'm very British, so when I say please don't give me money, I genuinely mean that. That's not just a coquettish, ooh, no donations. Because the last couple of times I've brought up the finances of doing things, people have donated, which is very kind, but also I don't want it to be a thing where if I ever am open about something and just more direct, people feel like they have to give me money. That's for fuck's sake. Oh, thank you, Mr. Siren, for becoming a channel member. Oh, I will paint. You can at least call for likes. I'm assuming that is. Yeah, if you're here and you haven't already, give the stream a thumbs up. Muchos apreciado. Gains Workshop, thank you as well. For fuck's sake. I'm just going to stop mentioning anything financial, because it makes me feel guilty when people give me money after I've talked about things not being worth doing for financial purposes. But as always, thank you to anyone who supports. I really appreciate the help that you give me and the fact that it lets me do this. No! No!
I want it on record that you forced me to this.
You didn't even put a rat emoji in. Don't fucking done it again. Don't you dare. Thank you, Austin. Thank you so much, everyone. You bastards. No! God damn you all. Is that Seo? Thank you. That's very generous of you. If you've received a gifted membership, please do thank Seo, whose name I've definitely said incorrectly. I'm so sorry about that. And also post in the needs role section on Discord, and I will make sure to apply your role. Nice. Well, thank you. Thank you. You've watched 20 or so of these. Thank you as well, Martin. God damn it. God damn it. All right, I'm drawing a line. Please stop donating. I'm going to now go back to talking about the lists that we've got here. Thank you all. Otherwise, we'll never get anywhere. So, this list, good list. I mean, I wrote it mostly, but because I can see it pop up before it pops up on stream.
Rat emoji.
God damn it. You bastard. Right, I'm going to stop talking about it now. I'm going to go back to talk about the list, but thank you, everyone. Yeah, so this is a fairly standard list that I actually wrote most of, and we're just tweaking it. So, the Black Orcs, the Monster Hunter Tapestry change here. I think it just feels like a pretty standard one, because I feel like there's going to be, like, the second tier of armies, I feel like dragons make a little bit of a resurgence. Oh, that was you. I did see your comment. I personally insult you whenever I discuss Bretonians. Yeah, it's mounted yeoman, right? So it would be... What the fuck? Oh, thank you very much, Steve. Oh, for fuck's sake. You know what's worse? You know what's even worse? I have to message you about the session, the coaching session that I did with your sibling. Thank you all. That's so kind of you. Wait, hold on. Oh no, Steve, you've given Lewis a membership. God damn it. God damn it. Like, occasionally I'll talk to people, because obviously in the position that I'm in, there are some people who are just very generous and very kind. Steve is obviously one of them. And separate things. Yeah, I know it is, but it makes me uncomfortable. The problem is I talk to people who are very generous and kind, and I'm properly British, and I don't mean that in any sort of, like, racial concept, but I mean that in I get very uncomfortable around money, and I think that's what makes you British, or it's what I feel like makes me British. So this is super kind, and I am sweating, and I am so uncomfortable. Like, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And unfortunately, I'm only halfway through the stream, so I've got to sit here. I can't just bury my head in the sand. I can't even talk properly. God damn it. Well, thank you so much. That's really kind of you. I did realize that Fix My List wasn't some way monetized. No, it is. It is. But like, so I've obviously talked about the financials of this before. It's just so one of the great things about Fix My List is that now that I've got people, I only look at the list where people send in the old world JSON file. It's someone wants the list fixed. Steve could message me at any time of day and I would fix his list. I've been very generously supported by Steve for a while now, so he can have what he wants. And in fact, you know what? Everyone in chat, because the one he's made me uncomfortable. The thing that Steve loves the most is being directly thanked. So I think even if you didn't get a membership, if you can just in chat say thank you so much, Steve, thank you, really appreciate what you do to support the old world scene and just Warhammer in general, that will make Steve really happy. And by happy, I mean also uncomfortable. You can weaponize your your deserved wealth, and I will weaponize my my fan base. That's how we're doing things here. I don't want thanks. Yes! Yes! Nailed it! Oh, perfect. Perfect. That's taken the heat off me. Taking the heat off me just a little bit. All right. I don't want to also genuinely make you. How do I give membership to Ginger Steve? Instruct. Oh no! God. When's that? So what's really funny is there's a super chat coming up that's going to thank Steve, but he donated so many memberships that it's going to take a while for that to come through. I'm going to forget. I'm going to go back to fixing the list right now, and then in sort of 3 or 4 minutes time, that's going to pop up with my headset, and I'm going to piss myself. All right. Monster Hunter Tapestry. I think it's important to protect your key unit against monsters. I feel like monsters are going to be a good second tier of the meta. So, I want to go back up to like a slightly bigger unit if possible, which would be, if we're going 18, that's 9 and 9 on this unit here. Also, Tome of Spellcraft. This is obviously the odd Night Goblin Odd Knob is the mainly into Cast Itch Nuisance, and then anything else that you roll within Wild Magic is very good. So instead of going for the flat reroll we get from Tome of Spellcraft, we're going to go for the Isle of Gork. It's 10 points more, but it also gives you plus 3-inch range. So suddenly your Itchy Nuisance is 18-inch range, which makes it a lot easier to abuse your opponent's level of positioning. 15-inch, it's easier to get away from. 18-inch, that's already conflicting with sort of maximum charge range for a lot of things. So that's very nice to have there. Other than that, I think the list is pretty good. I do like this Staff of Badoom Elementalism caster. I think it's a little hard. So, like, maybe there's a world where you go battle magic, but I think what it brings from elementalism is really nice as well. Actually, I think we can drop one model here because it's going to be sat realistically in the unit of Black Orcs to get that +1 to cast. And I really like this Cave Squig with the Ruby Ring of Ruin, just jumping around. You need to have it because it's some level of the third Night Goblin character. Just hopping around with the Ruby Ring of Ruin, but we need to find some. No, I do a ditch work early to be here. Well, see, uncomfortable head. God damn it! Like I say, that's in my mind, that's the citizenship test for the UK. If someone is nice to you and it makes you uncomfortable, that's the key metric. All right, cool. So I don't know how we shave these last points, because I'd like this unit to have Standard Bearer and Musician as well. I feel like that's an important part of keeping the goblins alive. But that puts us 13 points over, which is an awkward amount. I think it's going to be hard to drop, honestly. Going down to 6 Squig Hoppers feels fine. Like, we could go down to 5 and then change, like, drop a Musician here, and I think that's okay. I hate the lack of symmetry. only one of them not having musicians, but you can just have that as the one that isn't modeled with musicians. But yeah, I think this is probably the direction I'd take it. And I like, even 5, it doesn't really matter how many you have. A lot of the things they're going to go into, they're not going to get more than like 5 or 6 frontage anyway. So it's solid on that basis. Okay. Oh, I think I got distracted. I was talking about, someone said that they weren't aware that Fix My List isn't monetized. Obviously, I don't charge people to have their list looked at. People who do have channel memberships, and if you have a channel membership, even if you've just been gifted one, or especially if you've just been gifted one, please post in the needs role section on Discord, and I will apply your role, and then forget to remove it until I do a purge, like in 2 months' time or something like that. But that gives you priority on Fix My List. Yeah, obviously, I don't charge people to do it. In a way, it's almost like advertising for the coaching. But I make money on all of the streams. It's just because of the views that I get. This is like the lowest viewership stream that I do, which again is fine. It's not a problem. You make £5 to £10 on the stream. So like in terms of a standard Fix My List, you're looking at about £8 in value for about 3 hours work, which is obviously not a great cost to ratio. This one will not be. This is going to sit up there, and this is going to be, for a long time, maybe forever, the thing that if I filter by how much money you made per video or stream, this is going to sit at the top, because people have been incredibly generous. But yes, that was the continuation of what I was saying about it, and I think we can talk some lists properly now. I'm going to have to like actually lock in and look at these lists. To be honest, everyone I know watches you balance and they've always got content up. Thank you. I try to come at it from that perspective and try to be consistent with it as well. I think that's important, and it seems to work well. You know, if we're just sort of stepping back and talking about it as like a general premise for how you're running a YouTube channel. I don't tend to get swept away with the social media hypes. Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunately got into doing Warhammer content later in life, and I don't mean late in life, but I'm not doing it as like a teenager or in my early 20s, so I think it's easier to be established like who I am as a person and have that shine through. You will probably have noticed that the thumbnails that I've put up now do have just me on pulling some sort of face. It's unfortunate that works so well. Like if I look at it's not even the numbers per stream, but it's the conversion of how many people see me on their YouTube homepage and then click on my videos. It's basically doubled, so I just have to keep doing those silly faces, basically. Amazing. Thank you. Well, I will continue to try and make the best content I can.
Thanks, Steve.
Fuck! I'd forgotten it was coming. Oh, fuck. I'd forgotten that was coming. Yeah, alright, cool. I really need to lock in now, because we are 1.5 hours in. I like this stream to end roughly 2.5 hours in. And I've looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th of 12 lists, so we've taken an hour and a half. It's actually not too bad. That's doable. Yeah, Mr. Siren, people have the constant undercurrent of things being wrong. There is a channel that I've come across, and I haven't watched very much of their stuff. I've seen one video and thought, I never need to watch anything from this person again, called Discourse Minis, who seem to have monetized being really negative.
Focus up.
God damn it. God damn it. Oh! Yep, will do. Yep, I'll shut up now. Alright. I'm looking. Okay, let's look at OnlyFlank's Renegade Demons list, and I have to crane my neck so you can see the double chin. Let me find this, because this is the list that had a lot of context to it, which is not a bad thing. I don't want to discourage people from putting context with their list. Alright, so OnlyFlank says, continuing a trend of picking up bottom tier armies, I've set my sights on Renegade Demons for my next hobby project. Cool. Like, already this is good, because it's like, you know that you're coming in. It's like, hey, I'm playing one of the worst armies, and I'm doing it as a hobby project. Amazing. 2.4k list you're happy with. Most people are still playing 2k for casual games, so you're struggling to cut it down to something else you're happy with. Cool. So we don't want to do any major reworks here. You enjoy magic shooting maneuverability. The casters are there fishing for spells like Steed while defaulting to the summoning or gift. Plans for the Demon Prince to fly around with the drones. The Herald to join the Furies. Multiple spells from the Lord of Power with either making the Herald swing well or buffing the Furies with the Lord of Change to be a classic doppelganger beat stick. Yeah, so, hold on. Say yo. There we go. Say yo. I've got it. I'm definitely going to forget for the next round. I'm so sorry. Just remind me when I get your name wrong next time. I think weirdly, modern 40k tournaments have improved the way that people approach tournament Warhammer. I didn't go to tournaments before I stopped playing in like the early 2000s. But what I heard about tournament goers was very much... It was a certain type of person. I'm sure it wasn't everyone. Maybe it wasn't even a majority of people. I literally wasn't there, so I can't call myself an authority on it. But there were attitudes and a sneakiness, or there's a perception of like a sneakiness of how people used to play. And I feel like the way that 40k as a tournament game has modernized, and there's an attitude of there shouldn't be gotchas, and there's an attitude of, well, the information is known, but there's a lot of mental load because there's so much to know about 40k, that there is a bit of a collaborative process to it in the game. I really like that, and I think that is what got me hooked on being a tournament gamer. And that is the attitude that I try and bring to the old world. I think it's the best thing that I've got from 40k, and I know Richie's very similar. We get on so well because we would always have very good, friendly, collaborative games, even as he was gunning down my skirmish bullshit with his character that would ignore all penalties to hit, which made me very sad, and then also beating me in legitimate games, just to be entirely upfront about where we were at when we met. But, yeah, and even though I'm not working with Team England this year, it's why I'm so pleased to see him still at the helm, because it is a very positive attitude that he has brought to leadership of International Warhammer. And I actually think that the 40k team in Old World is doing a lot better, and they're rebuilding their reputation. But I'm so pleased that I don't think we have that reputation in Old World for Team England. I think even though they won, there is a positive attitude towards them as an international team, which is really cool. Hey, Anthony. Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's going to be bad eggs in every group. No matter what group it is in life, there's always going to be some people. I have a couple of people on my shit list, but my shit list for 40k is a lot longer than it is for Old World. To be fair, there's a lot more players in 40k. And Pash. Yeah. It's not true what they say about him. He's all right. Saffron Slam TSN, both awesome menus run by really cool people. Yeah, it's as well the attitude is that maybe not every tournament needs to be as competitive as it is in Old World, where points are the only thing that matters. I think there are a lot more people who go to tournaments in Old World who aren't as bothered about where they finish in the placings, whereas 40k feels a lot more really locked in about how well am I doing at a national or international level, which I love having from a perspective of like I can track how good I am or how well I feel like I'm doing, and I can see my progress. But yeah, it's nice to not have that be the be all and end all. All right, so this list is, I believe that you're looking to cut this down to 2,400 points. I think that's what I took away from this. So what have you got here? Okay, cool. I like the choices you've made. So you've got the Lord of Change, level 4, with a 5th spell from a Twin Heads, Will of Tzeentch. I actually can't remember what Will of Tzeentch does. 55 points. Oh, you can just reroll any d6. That is really nice, especially with Spectral Doppelganger. I do like that, because if you roll like a 1 and a 6, you reroll that 1. You get a lot of consistency. Or if you roll poorly on a spell, you roll a 1 and a 6 on your casting. Let's just reroll that 1. This is a really solid ability. It's very expensive, but I think it's good. Okay. Love this Lord of Change. Then we've got a Demon Prince, which is Fly, 8th Blade. Let's give him the heavy armor as well. Just that 5-up save means that you're more likely to be not immune, but less damaged by small arms fire. Yeah, I agree. Spartan. Demon of Nurgle, level 1. What spell are you taking? Just Hammerhand, I assume? Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And then we've got this Herald, level 2, Banner of Change? Oh, I don't think that's super worthwhile. Because it's at the start of the combat phase, this doesn't count for combat res, I believe, because it's not done in the fight. So I would drop this because it's not going to help you win combats. If I'm wrong on that, someone please correct me. People do love to correct me. But, I mean, to be fair, if I'm wrong, I should be corrected. Yeah, and then you've got Winged Horror, so you can join the Furies. I like that. So going level 3, so we're going Demonology, you're really hoping to hit Demonic Vessel. Demonic Vessel turns Furies into like a surprisingly good unit. Before 1.1. Yeah, that's a shame. So it's before the combat starts, so you don't get the benefit of it. But I do like a Demonology Wizard with the Chaos Furies, or if not, just hit like roll the summoning and be happy. In terms of core, you've got the Flames of Zinch. Yeah, I don't know that I love this unit. I feel like it's probably not good enough, even with the +2 to cast on what should we call it? Not Gaze of the Gods. Will of Zinch. Gift of Mutation. There we go. So Gift of Mutation is a really good hex, and it does actually only cast on a 7, although it's 12-inch range. I'm never sold on Pink Horrors being able to cast this being like super valuable. You can index into it, you know, go for more models, give them the standard, which is the Icon of Sorcery, so you get double your rank bonus instead of a single icon, because their casting value is equal to their rank bonus. If you take one casualty with this unit, you're only casting it +1, which is not it. But I mean, like, as a unit to stand in objectives and maybe do something, I guess it's not awful. I shouldn't, you know, it's okay. This unit here, this is a very big unit. Power Vortex for the minus to cast is okay. I don't rate it, but it's a big unit, and you're going to cast the summoning at level 3, and you're going to go for the Demonology. Yeah, okay. It's a shame that it's not Strength User on the attacks here on the Warp Flame. But yeah, I see what you're going for. I see what you're going for. And it's hard for me to say, you know, do this instead, this is better. So I think this is the... Hold on, if we just export this. I haven't had to make many changes for the 2.4K list, because as you stated, you've pretty much got that locked in. But if we then just make some very quick notes... here... That's a problem. That's a problem. We probably drop the Locus. Like, having a Locus is nice, but if we're trying to shave points to get down to 2,000, that's probably the way to do it. And then we're probably... Like, the thing that I'm looking to drop here is realistically going to be the Furies. And then we just bulk these up. Now, I know this is a bit of a bugger, but I just put Pink Horrors in there to make out the points. Honestly, do we just go for, like... units of 16? Oh, it's got to be 1 unit 17. Oh, they should really have unit champions, I think. And they should have unit champions in the other version. Furies of Zinch, so that you can join the Demonic Herald to them. It's not as good as Furies of Khorne, but if you get the spell off, if you roll Demonic Vessel, then they go to 3 attacks each at Strength 5 AP2, which is significantly better than the 2 at Strength 5 AP1, right? And then, in my mind, this is where we can cut a lot of points. Like, I don't hate going for this, but I'm probably thinking if we're shaving points here, we're going for 3 Flamers with only a level 1 wizard, although that is still pretty expensive. We're just going for Demonology there. And then it's probably got to be, like, drop a Beast and Nurgle. How do we get the points down? I don't think you want a unit champion here, although I would be looking at one of these as an upgrade. I think you can just take unmarked. You can, yeah. But Zinch gives you +1 to... Oh, yeah, basically nothing. That's a good point. That's a good point. Demonic Alignment. You can join... Huh. That's a very good point. I guess it doesn't matter too much because we're just looking at, like, capped core. But, yeah, I guess we could do that. With 28 points over, though. Not really sure how we... Like, is it Will of Zinch? Will of Zinch is so good, though. Or... Is it Aether Blade? I mean, it's probably not Aether Blade because it's only an AP one hand weapon up until that point. Otherwise, yeah, this is rough to cut. Maybe we just go back down to level 2. I don't love it. I'd rather be level 3, but that might just be the way that we can get there. At which point, I'd almost rather have them be Khorne because you've only got a 1 in 3 chance of getting the spell that you want. But yeah, I think this would probably be the 2k version that I would go with from the models you've got. I don't want to change it significantly from what you're running at 2.4 because then that adds burden of like having to build and paint more stuff. But I think the 2.4 is a lot more interesting than the 2000. This is maybe just sort of like the baseline of how I'd start to tweak it. Make the DP Khorne and give them the axe, I guess. Yes, that is true. I need to remind myself what the axe does. Is it AB3? Strength plus 1. Oh, no, that's no good. It hasn't got anything. Okay, there's a reason why I haven't done that. I was like, oh, that's... Why have I not done this before? Oh, because it's terrible. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't seem like a lot of moving parts in demons. Seems moving... Yeah, demons are struggling. Demons are struggling. Okay, so let's have a look at Ben_RRR's Chorf list. So this is Chaos Dwarves for Toy Soldiers at the end of the month. No Renegade pack, limited to 1 Mantle of Stone. That's rough. That is rough. Don't think I have enough time to paint up Hobgoblins, can be flexible on the rest. That's a shame, because Hobgoblins are the best thing. So I haven't even looked at this list. Okay. If we can only go 1 Mantle of Stone. Okay. So I feel like without Hobgoblins and with limited Mantles of Stone, it's difficult to get a lot of the strength for Chaos Dwarves. Also, Legacy over Grand Army, over Renegades, I feel like hurts a little bit as well. The Dreadquake Mortar is fine. I'm not super sold on it, but it's not bad. The problem with it is, it's only strength 6, so the multiple wounds d6 is spicy, but you're only wounding stuff on 4s. It is a large blast template. I would be more interested in looking at not the Dreadquake, the Death Trieker. So you've got either the same, central hole, strength 6, AP3, multiple wounds d6, so that's pretty good. I think it's got Armor Bane. I actually don't think that the other one has Armor Bane, so that it might be even slightly better. But you also have the Large Blast template, and this is Strength 3 Large Blast as well. Wait, hold on. Does the Dreadquake Mortar have AP built in? Oh, I was comparing it to Cathay, the Fire Rain rocket batteries. Anyway, I think the slow reload kind of kills the Dreadquake Mortar for me. I know it slows them down, but just having a 1 in 3 chance to not be able to shoot after you've risked a misfire anyway is really risky in my mind. But I'm not opposed to having some sort of artillery piece here. I think it's per army. Let me check the event pack. Yeah. I would be tempted. Like, I feel like a lot of the direct strength of this list is the Wyvern. So not having that in is rough. It's per character. Okay. Still excludes us from doing the T7 Torok, which I do like. I think that the Torok with T7, Great Weapon and Charm Shield is a real monster to deal with, and you've got a lot of points in character, sorry. Is it possible for us to fit in a BSB, not BSB, Wyvern? So like this, obviously we can't give it a... I mean, we can just keep it relatively cheap. So we give it a Grizzly Trophy Rack. This is a really nice combo. Because you're using the Talisman of Protection already, going for this, so you're -2 to their leadership when you're in combat with them because of Terror and this rule. And then you also give them the Trollhide Trousers so they don't fall over immediately. Give them a Charmed Shield for catching that cannonball on the shield. Like, this is just a really solid little beater. And then we're points over, but we can shave points. Honestly, like, we can probably just drop the artillery piece. I'm not super sold on it here. And then points-wise... Okay, we can maybe make this work. So we don't. The Dark Forge weapon is not bad, but if we're looking to cut points to fit something like another beater in, that's where we can cut some points. Bale Taurus is solid. Talisman Protection. Yeah, okay, so this is pretty standard. I do like this. I'd like it more if it was a level 4 caster, but I just don't know how we're going to find points for that. Because you're really looking for Steed of Shadow, not Steed of Shadows, the Demonology spell. Demonic Vessel. I think we just have to cut models here. Oh, okay. So you don't want to go shields and great weapons on these. You may not have come across it. There's a rule called Motley Crew. I'm not going to go into depth explaining it here. You might want to just look it up if you're not sure about it. Basically, you go half and half. The short version of Motley Crew is you go half and half, and you intersperse them. So you go great weapon, hand weapon, great weapon, shield, great weapon, shield, great weapon, shield. You always pull the great weapon first, so that half or more up a shield, which means that you're always taking a 3-up armor save, and the same works for shooting and works for combat. Have a look into it if you're not sure how it works from that short description. I'm sorry I'm not able to go into, spend a lot of time breaking it down. It is just a little bit of a, there's a lot there. But I think we're probably looking to go something like 16 of these, because they are pricey, but we also probably want to give them Stubborn Veteran. I think they're very solid by doing so there. Also, you want some sort of banner on these realistically. God, we're going to be really struggling for points here, aren't we? What banner? Like, Big Red Raggedy Flag's nice, but I feel like maybe it's Monster Hunter Tapestry. You definitely want something on there, though. And then these Infernal Guard, again, I think we just can't go quite as many models. We're going to have to cut some to get lower on the points. So maybe just, a 4x4 brick there is solid. And we're still over on points. It's helpful for Motley Crew. Lovely stuff. Lovely. Glad that is helpful. I like this Khan with a reserve move. Dropping the short bow doesn't really get us there. How the hell are we getting there? I think we can drop the trophy rack because it's nice, but it doesn't make the list tick. Like, it definitely helps, but if we're trying to get under points, that is, I guess, how we do it. And then... Oh, no. No. Definitely this Steam Cannonade. The Skullcrack is cool. 2d6 plus 2 impact hits. Hell yeah, that's amazing. It's a 5-inch move chariot. Like, you're realistically not getting the charge off. So, what you want to do is have the flexibility of being able to shoot them, and then also impact hits. D6 plus 1 is still good, and D3 plus 1 is just really snazzy on the stomps. And it's basically just the unbreakable T7. That's the main thing. I'd really like to hit Hellbound on here. Hellbound is incredible for the Steam Tank specifically. So I think it has terror already, right? Okay. So it upgrades the fear to terror, which is massive. It upgrades it to have magical attacks, which is really nice for if you're dealing with anything ethereal, like the Green Knight or Banshees. It also lets you reroll 1 artillery die once per game. If you were to misfire, you are -1 to the result. You never roll on the table. So there is basically no downside, and you get a 6-up ward against non-magical attacks. It's a huge force multiplier. I don't think we can fit it in, realistically. I think we're going to have to cut something meaningful to get there, and I don't know how to do that. Oh, sorry. That's Paul, isn't it? Sorry, Paul. That's poor timing. No shame on not knowing what the crew. Yeah, it's a pain in the backside. I just keep it super simple. I go 1 and 1. 50% of the unit is one thing, 50% of the other. I deploy them in a checkerboard. Boom. I don't have to think about it at all now. There's no messing around. Yeah, so Hellbound would be really good here. And honestly, it's worth dropping something for, but I just don't know what we drop in this list. Because I like the moving pieces. If you can't get the Hobgoblins, like, I would go MSU on the Infernal Guard and just put, like, 2 bricks of Hobgoblins in, and this is a better list immediately, because you've got a lot more, like, points in scoring. Oh, not points in scoring. You've got a lot more unit strength in scoring. They're very hard to shift. It's just very good, cheap models. But we can't get there. I'd love to upgrade this to a level 4 wizard as well. And, yeah, like, maybe the Khan and the Hobgoblin Wolf Riders come out, because that gives you a level 4 wizard, and both of these get Hellbound. But I think what that brings is still very good. And I think it's your list benefits from being able to pick up stuff at range like that. The problem is it worth the 167 points that it costs. That's hard to say. Wish I had 2.2k. 100%. 100%. But I think, like, this is fine. And you just go up to, like, a 17th model or something like this. I'm not even going to, like, finish this list because this is, like, the last few points of tweaking. You can play around with yourself. There's lots of interesting choices that you can make there. What I will do is let's look at the list if you didn't have the Khan in. And to be clear, I really like the Khan. I like what it does for you, but it's just points-wise. Because this gives us 2 Hellbounds, like so. It gets us to a level 4 wizard here. We maybe put a power scroll on. I don't know if that's worthwhile. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're ever going for, like, normally this build is a little outdated, but I still think it's got merit. The main issue is, like, if you're taking the Storm of Ash, it's a cast on a 10. So it might be better just to go for the magic missile and be more flexible with it. But I think that there are high casting values in this army, so getting the power scroll on there is quite nice. And I don't dislike putting the Darkforged weapon back on, you know, because if we're talking about a caster, it's a caster that likes being in combat, so Hatred is good, multiple wounds, D3 is okay. You don't have to strengthen the AP to back it up, but it's fine. Magic resist 1 is fine. Strength +1 is fine. +1 to casting rolls is good as well. So, like, everything apart from flaming attacks is, like, at minimum moderately positive, and there's nothing that's actively bad. So you could go there, and then we'd just bulk these back up to, I mean, I don't think we can get to, oh, we can get to 20. So this would be the other version. I think this is very light on ability to pick things up across the board. I think you'll struggle in that respect, but it does have the benefit of you've got, like, another melee piece here, which is very strong as well. Or maybe it's, like, not even the 20 Infernal Guard. Maybe it's the Grizzly Trophy Rack for 30 points here. Or another thing you can do with this wizard, with the Wyvern, is you're quite tanky, you're mobile, you can pick your fights. The armor save plus regen is usually going to be enough to keep you safe in combat because you're picking the fights. You can also go with the Shield of the Warrior True, which just gives you a 5 at ward against shooting attacks, which again is enough to keep you safe.
Made it at the end.
Hey!
Any spiders this evening?
No, you didn't submit a list, Amy. I'm afraid there are not many true Arachnarok believers. You are one of the few. Khan and Wolf, you can get the upgrades and Hobgoblins, Trinity Infernals. So the main problem, Mistress Siren, the list that I had before was the limiting factor was the 500 points of core. There wasn't a way to squeeze more points out and still keep the things that we wanted, because I think the Hellbound's very good here. But yeah, 2,000 points, I think, is difficult if you want to go down the Source of Profit route. I might be tempted to just put the Source of Profit on foot, go for, like, the War Boss on Wyvern, the core we've got here, and then maybe fill out the points more. But again, I'd like to see more Hobgoblins. Also, surprisingly good, Sneaky Gets, just for 60 points, coming in from ambush, pain in the arse. Ballistic skill and weapon skill 4. They've got throwing weapons, they've got 2-hand weapons, they've got a re-roll where they re-roll, I think, hits if they charge you in the flank or the rear. They're money at 60 points. Can the dwarf character join the Black Orcs? Yeah, nothing's stopping them. But not in this case because it's on a Wyvern, but you absolutely could do. Not really, it's probably, looks like I try to get them. Yeah. I think if you go to events, I've been working with a lovely chap from Canada who I've been coaching and has won the league that he's in. So I think I've given him a shout already, but given that it's come up, shout out to Colin again. He has been playing Renegade Chaos Dwarves, and it opens up a lot of fun stuff you can do. You can put Taurox in rare, and you go, like, 2 Mantles of Stone, Charm Shield, Great Weapon, and they're just a really annoying T4 piece that it's like, okay, what are you going to do? You're going to hit me with magic missiles? You wounding me on 6s, or Vile Tide doesn't wound me at all. You're shooting, again, wounds me on 6s. Yes, volume brings them down, but it's surprisingly hard to get. And they're swift side, they're 360-degree line of sight, they've got impact hits, they've got a great weapon. They just punch harder than you want them to, and traditionalists struggle to catch them or deal with them at range. So I think you can go for some very interesting T7 spam, and also the Castellano Seneschals on the Taurus, I think are a very interesting, cheap-ish, like mid-strength, mid-toughness, not mid-toughness because you go to T7, but mid-durability character that are interesting to build around as well. Any cheese, says Amy. We haven't got any Skaven, I'm afraid. Looking forward to trying Renegades at TSM event soon. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, I don't want to say, like, I don't want to open the floodgates and just say people should ping me if they're going to Rob's events. But if it's something like this, like one of the streams, please do let me know in chat. You know, if anyone's coming to a TSN event that's coming up, because I do sometimes pop down even if I'm not there. It just depends what I'm doing, or, you know, what spare time I have. But it's always nice just to see people in person as well. No cheese with dwarf characters in the Black Orcs. Oh, I see. They are different base sizes, which is a little bit of a pain in the ass, but it's not the end of the world. Okie dokie. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How have I still got 6 lists left to do? All right. I said I was locking in before. We're locking in now. Okay. Let's look at... Oh, God. These are all going to be complex. These are all complex. Right. We're just locked in. We're doing it. You're going mid-April for the Glory of the Heralds. Nice. Hell yeah. Herald's Darkness. Big fan. All right. So, Tomb Kings. Zemriak. I think that Zerimaniac. The plan is to have the buff from the casket and robe go on the Tomb Guards. They hit like a truck. Chaos Dragon, just because I like him. I also like him. Okay, so we've got Skeleton Warriors and we've got Tomb Guard. We've got Ushabti with Great Bows, Casket of Souls, Necrosphinx. Okay, the first thing I would say is this list has a lot of the things that make the army good, but it has too many of the things that make the army good. And by that, I mean you should pick a lane a little more and focus on it. So we're going to drop the Ushabti. If we're not doing like a big... You know, if we're not doing minimum sort of like 10 Ushabti, I think let's not bother at all. They don't deal... you need them en masse to kill big things with their multiple wounds, and they don't kill small things well. So let's not bother with that. But I'm not opposed to another Necrosphinx. I don't think there's a way to fit one in, though, unfortunately. How do you fit them into... Oh, it's Mortuary Cult that can take one special, I think, isn't it? All right, cool. So we've got the Tomb King, who you've given... Talisman of Protection, Cackling Blade. I wouldn't even bother with Cackling Blade. Literally just Great Weapon Tomb King. You have to pick your fights, but I think it's going to be roughly as effective. The Great Weapon means that you can have the attacks from the Bone Dragon going first, which is less worthwhile for a Bone Dragon compared to, you know, a general character. But it's still fine. It just means that you get more oomph there. You don't have any magical attacks, that's usually not going to matter. This thing is just like a very budget dragon character, so you want to pair it with other things. We've got a Tomb Prince here with Sword of Might. Again, we're not really looking for magic weapons with Tomb Kings all that much. Great weapons are just very solid. And if you ever feel like you need to not fall over, you can just use your shield, and again we can upgrade to a charm shield here. So this means that you've got in combat a 4-up save if you need to go for tankiness, but it's just a Tomb Prince that isn't a BSB or anything like that. Like, it's not that sort of character, so just having the Great Weapon attacks I think is better. Then we've got a Royal Herald. This one definitely wants at minimum a charm shield. Let's try and make sure it doesn't die immediately. Because you've got an Icon of the Sacred Eye, so you're giving them +1 to your weapon skill. Okay, so we're going really heavy on the Tomb Guard brick, which is solid. But if we're doing that, we should also go for a Necrotect, which just gives them the Eternal Taskmaster rule, +1 extra attacks +1, and hatred all enemies. This really turbocharges the Tomb Guard brick. The other thing we should do is we should give the Tomb Guard, always give them a musician, we should give them either the Monster Hunter Tapestry or the Icon of Rakaf. So you can make a single reform at any point during your movement. That includes when you overrun. So if you win combat and then you overrun, you can pivot at the start of the move and you can just overrun into another unit. It is a very, very strong combo. If we're going heavily into a Death Star, this is something that we should be looking at. Cool. So the characters that you'll put in there is the Tomb Prince, the Royal Herald, the Necrotect, maybe the level 1 Illusion Caster if you want to. I'm not married to that though. That can kind of go where it needs to. We've got the High Priest with level 4 Hieratic Jar, Ruby Ring for an Elementalism. Is Hieratic Jar the once per game res a second time? I don't hate it. That's fine. It's a little sad that you pay 25 points to do that once per turn, once per game, and vampire counts pay very similar. Is it 35 points for the Scepter of Tenoro? Something along those lines. Elementalism is okay on this character. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm more of an illusion fan for Tomb Kings, but I think elementalism gives you a lot, and there's no harm in playing around with it. Okay, so the characters here look pretty solid. We've got the Tomb Guard, we've got the Skeleton Warriors, you've gone for the Monster Hunter Tapestry here, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, this is set up well. I'd still like more stuff in core. Having the Necrosphinx fly around with the Tomb King as well is a really nice pairing, because obviously the Tomb King's going to get stuck in a challenge, sorry. The Necrosphinx just adding more combat res is really nice there. It's very consistent to do that. Okay, so what are we missing? We've got over 100 points here, and I think we're missing something like pretty major, in that I think our scoring's kind of bad, which, given that we are an undead list, is a little bit rough. So this is a very low drop list. I don't think it needs to be a low drop list. What I'd go with is I like a good size unit of Skeleton Skirmishers. I think they're a very good bodyguard for the High Priest. It doesn't necessarily want to be in one of these units. It can't res when it's in combat. It can't cast a lot of its spells when it's in combat. And then I also really like one unit of Skeleton Horse Archers. Something like 7 or 8 of them I think is very solid. They have reserve move, so it just gives them some consistency. They can run around, score you some points quite well. That does overcap us on points, though, by 48. So, what do we have to cut to get there? This is fine, this is fine. This is fine. Normally, you don't want the offensive or like the combat focus banner on the BSB because it's easier to kill them. Instead, you want it on the unit. I would say Icon of Rakaf is so good that even though you need to win combat to get super value out of it, you still want it on that character. You don't want your opponent to be able to snipe it. I think we can go down to, like, let's say 30 on the Skeleton Warriors, and we can go down to 14, go down to 7, and then I don't really want to drop the Tomb Guard too low, even though we're putting 4 characters. Oh, they need halberds as well. Okay, this makes things slightly problem. Okay, I think we might just have to lose the Horse Archers. I don't know that we've got enough points to fit those in with everything else that we're doing. But at least the Skeleton Skirmishers give us some value there. We can probably just go 2 units of Skeleton Skirmishers. Like... Even if we go 2 units of 12, that's a little bit. We'd have to drop here. I just don't see a good way to drop 3 points. Like, we could drop... Honestly, this Tomb Prince is never using his Charm Shield. We'll just downgrade him to a regular shield because he wants to use his Great Weapon. And I think that feels pretty good here. But yeah, I think this does what you want, in that you've got the Tomb Guard Death Star, you've got the Skeleton Warriors who can hold a point, you've got the 2 units of Skirmishers, one of them is going to be a good bodyguard for the High Priest, one of them is going to be just a unit that's going to sit on side points. Casket of Souls is obviously solid at keeping you alive defensively. Necrosphinx pairs up well with the Tomb King. Yeah, I think that works pretty damn well. And now I have to spell your name. Zeri. Ooh. There we go. Boom. War Sphinxes, ever a consideration's amount. I was told with great confidence that the winged Necrosphinx, the winged War Sphinx, sorry, was going to be available as a mount for Tomb Kings. I was also told with great confidence that you were going to be able to put characters on the back of the bloody Sepulchral Stalkers. I'm very upset that neither of those happened. But I was actually kind of excited for this because, yes, it's not great, but it's Initiative 1. So if you go with a character with a great weapon, you're also Initiative 1. So you can just make all of your meaningful attacks at the same time. The problem is the riders on top are Initiative 2 or better. So it doesn't actually help all that much. Although, actually, no, the Winged War Sphinx doesn't have any riders, do they? No, it's just a, like this. But yeah, this is just worse than the War Sphinx in every way. The Necrosphinx in any way. And the actual mount here, the War Sphinx here, is, like, again, this bit's great. Oh yeah, it's Initiative 3 on the Tomb Guard crew. So they could accidentally kill the unit champion and you'd be very sad about it. So Yep. But that looks good to me. Okay, let's have a look at the Wolves of the Sea list. This is Cookery 123. Square base comp. Trying to use a Scouting Demon Prince, then win the challenge to go first with a Huskar. Deciding between Icon Fortitude or Ruby Ring. Running Friedal for added consistency on ambushes. Also not having the Demon Princess General. Happy for all to change. This is interesting. So this is going to be a very different list to what we're used to seeing for Wolves in the Sea. Because, I mean, frankly, it's normally just Double Dragon. Okay. So, the character here, you've got a First Sword Champion. What's their Initiative 3? Yeah, Initiative 3. Totem of Wrath doesn't work. Flail doesn't work in a challenge like the Wolves challenge. You don't get the charge bonuses. You are T5, so that is something meaningful. But I just worry that it's really risky to throw this character into a challenge. T5, though. Double Gigantic Spawn. Berserkers. Yeah, I like these units here. Coming in ambush, coming in T5. I think they're real problems for your opponent to deal with. This unit is magic resist 2, -1 to be shot. Hand weapon shields. Yeah, close order. This is just a good unit. This is going to stand on objectives well. You do get the AP2. You do, you just don't get the strength. Okay, so then we've got a Flying Demon Prince with level 4 Trailblazer's Hauberk for the Scout. Spell Familiar, Sword of Sorrow, Icon of Fortitude. Yeah, okay. So this is not a caster that wants to be in melee. Ideally. But flexibly could deal with cannons. I think you have to go with Icon of Fortitude to make this work. I really would love to see this with the Ruby Ring of Ruin. But as previously mentioned, I'm going off the Ruby Ring in terms of, like, I'm not going to prioritize it highly. It's still going to make it into my list, especially lists that really struggle for damage. Just like potentially getting that extra plus, Fireball off is really nice. But yeah, I think this list is good. Sword of Sorrows is good. What's the Ballistic skill? 6? 5. It's still pretty good. Hitting on 2s before modifiers. Okay. Yeah, I like what you've got here. I think this is a good caster. I think it's a cheeky... I don't know if it's worth 500 points, but it's very cool. I'm a big fan. Then we've got a Chariot, Flail, Undivided, Regen, Favor of the Gods model. Okay. Yeah, fine. It's not paired with anything, is my problem. Like, I guess you could pair it with the Huskars or the Gigantic Spawn. Okay. Oh, that's fine. I don't think Friedal is good. She's very expensive for what she does. But if you don't want your Demon Prince to be the general, it's hard. Like, I don't know that I'd make any tweaks here. So, like, looking at your list design, I think for what you want this list to do, I think you've written the list very well. I don't think there's really much that I could argue to change outside of changing the list fundamentally. Like, I would not run Friedal. What she does bring is... Oh, that's not it. So she adds some consistency to the leadership, but that's not super important because she's leadership 9, and then the Marauders have Warband as well. Although I guess that doesn't stack it because she doesn't have Warband. Anyway, so I'm not like super worried about that. It's fine, but it's kind of whatever. She's got an impact hit for some reason. She's an infantry model, so she doesn't really charge. Peerless Raiders is nice. So you can give a unit ambushes for free, and you +1 to -1 to see if your ambush come in, which is nice. So that is solid. But you're paying 235 points for a very middle-of-the-road character, in my mind. So, yeah, I'd probably not run Friedal. I wouldn't run the Aspiring Champion. And I'd run... I mean, even if you want to put the Demon Prince in, I think putting a dragon as your other character is probably better. So I'm not gonna do that because I think you've done a good job at making your list work the way that you want it to. Let me just 1, 2, 3 discussion at roughly 2 hours 5 mins. I think it was something like that. But yeah, like the easy thing to do would be Not Galrock. No. Not Galrock. Galrock isn't real. Galrock can't hurt you. Drop these two for just like a standard Exalted Champion Dragon. And then if you're doing that, I'd want to see more core Marauders so you can buddy up for the challenge mechanics. But I think, yeah, I hope this list plays well. Because this Demon Prince build is obviously like an idea that's been floating around for a little while. I just think it's so fucking cool. I love this model. It's 500 points to do 2 magic missiles and throw the Sword of Sorrows, and then theoretically mop up in the mid to late game. But I mean, I was playing a Dark Elf Dragon, and in my first couple of events, I didn't... Dark Elf Sorceress on Dragon. My first couple of events, I didn't end up in combat with it very often. Of course, I had the threat of it, which is its own thing. But yeah, I think it's cool. I like the vibe, so I don't want to change anything. I think you've maximized your list well in the way that you want to maximize it. I'd maybe change these Berserkers as well. Like, try and get them to larger units so they can threaten to hold objectives, but that's not super important, I think. Okay. We've got Hobby Prince Empire, who says, Further Emperor. And this is another list that I'm not going to make sweeping changes to, because it's got things in it that I think it's like not the best way to play, but it's like we can maximize it within the theme, right? We can maximize within the theme. So the first thing I would say is we're running 30 flatulence, and to support them, we've got a Harbinger of Doom and a Priestess Sigmar and a Lector Sigmar. Although I guess he's not, you know, he's riding a Lector, so he's riding a War Altar, sorry, so he's not actually going in with the unit. But we can make some efficiency tweaks. I think I would want these units to be slightly bigger so they can look at holding objectives as well, because right now you've only got one objective holder. As soon as either of these model takes a wound, you lose your ability to hold. I want at least 2 cannons, I would say. Minimum 2 cannons. I think that it's not worth going for less than that. And also, I'm not sold that 12 Inner Circle Knights of the Blazing Sun are super useful. You've made them hit as hard as they're ever going to hit, but I think we can comfortably go down to like a squad of 8 or even 7. But I think that we can find points here pretty comfortably. In terms of actual other tweaks, let me just double check the Lector. So you've not given them a great weapon. Has he got a magical weapon? Hammer of Righteousness. Ooh, I don't even know what this does. Strength +2, AP -2. So it's a great weapon. Oh yes, of course. Yeah. Because when it came out, I played a stupid battle report with an unarmored Griffin Empire character doing Spectral Doppelganger shenanigans. Cool. Alright, yeah. This is super not worth the points that you're spending on it, I would say. Because you've got 3 attacks. It's cool, though. I think if I'm trying to tweak it to be as efficient as possible... What's the armor save on a War Altar? 4 up? 4 up's not great. Like, maybe it's just Meteoric Iron, so you don't fall over immediately. Ring of Fortune. Ring of Fortune gives you reroll hits, right? Reroll wounds. And then, like, maybe Witch Hunter's Ward. Do you come with Magic Resist already? Magic Resist 1, the War Altar comes with Magic Resist 2, so there's no point there. Like, I feel like this is already better. Just in terms of, like, a great weapon is going to do more for you. Or do a similar amount with the number of attacks you have there. And I don't know that we care about the Ring of Fortune, honestly. Because you've only got 3 attacks. It doesn't apply to the... The problem is it doesn't apply to the models on the... Like, you can't re-roll the impact hits, wounds, or anything like that. So if we... do that here. Shroud of Iron. That's the protection against template weapons, right? Honestly, don't hate that if it's joining a big brick of flagellants. Wait, no, hold on, I do. Because it's a 6-up ward save against non-magical templates. And this unit has... What was it? A 6-up ward against non-magical attacks? Yeah. Oh, I guess maybe it goes with veteran state troops. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think all I want to do here is go like 13 and 13, so they're a little bit bigger. Like, again, I'm not super in love with detachments. Ooh, that's not what I was trying to do. Sorry about that. Let me just open this unit back up. Open the stream back up. Boom, there we go. So we go 13 and 13 here. We're 5 points over, of course we are. I definitely wouldn't bother with the light armor on them, though. I think that's not super necessary. So we can go 15. And Ring of Tal makes a lot of sense here, although Magic Resist would probably be better. Oh, you definitely need shields on this unit. Okay, so we just tweak the numbers back down to like 12 on each, something like that. But yeah, I think this is more the direction I'd go. It gives you just a little bit more bang for your buck. A flail here makes sense because, honestly, we want a weapon on this guy as well. Great weapon. Yeah, there we go. I think this has maximized to the theme as well. I will say, I'm not. I think if you're trying to play it competitively, this obviously does have issues, but I don't think this has been written with that goal in mind. So there we go. You are welcome, Skaven Spawn. Weapon skill through regular flag of the monster under banner. I think in this meta, I'm more worried about the potential of being stomped. I think that's more of a risk. I feel like it's harder to get the value out of the +1 weapon skill and +1 combat res compared to just not being stomped to death. Obviously, in some matchups, it's just not going to matter, but a lot of the time, I think it will. All right, let's have a look at Remy's list. So Remy has got a 2,000-point Tale of Minigamers army. You're working on the 500-point army for the first games with the army. The idea of the list is to rush the opponent with mass chariots. I added the 500-point file and the 2k file where the army is going to evolve. I wouldn't normally look at both, but I can at least lay my eyes on the 500 points and make sure that it makes sense. So, this is the full list, and it's just full send, and it's kind of beautiful, honestly. I do like it. What I would say is there a reason that this isn't not Grand Army, Royal Host? I guess Royal Host can't take Tomb Scorpions, right? Oh no, you can take Tomb Scorpions. I think this list is just better as Royal Host. Is it? Wait, maybe it is Royal Host. What can I check here? Alright, it is Royal Host, never mind. It would be better as Royal Host, so it is. It's the only one that can take Tomb God Chariots. Oh, I hadn't even noticed. I hadn't even picked that up. Okay, so we've got the character on Dragon, which is almost perfect, but you haven't given it a weapon, Remy, so we'll give it a great weapon there. Then we've got a level 1 Chariot Ogreblade character. This is looking very similar to a list that I wrote for someone 2 nights ago. I'm seeing a lot of overlap here, and it's not for Remy. This is just coincidence. Royal Herald Armor of Destiny. Ooh, that's spicy. Again, we definitely want a weapon on there. You've not given them any weapons, so we're gonna have to find some points somewhere. Oh, this one's not got a weapon either. God damn. How do we make this work? Because we're 7 points over. And you also haven't got a BSB. That is a bit of a shame. That's a real shame. So I think what we do is we go Warding Splint. Okay, no. We go... Oh, man. So obviously you want to be able to pass wounds over. So this character here is not going to have Talisman Protection. It's going to have a slightly worse armor save, but it's okay, because against shooting, we're going to use the heavy armor plus a shield on the Warding Splint. And that's how we're going to have our defensive loadout. So it's the same against shooting. It's ever so slightly worse against combat, but it doesn't matter much. You're a Lord on a Dragon. You should pick your fights. Then we're going to go for the Royal Herald with Armor of Meteoric Iron. And that is going to have the double whammy. So we're going to give it the Talisman of Protection. And this is going to be the challenge bot. So any wounds that go onto it, that is where we go. And then we've got this one, which is a BSB. And we're going to give it Monster Hunter Tapestry. I think that is very powerful in terms of not just immediately falling over, but Unfortunately, we can't give it anything good. Ooh. So we're going to go hand weapon. Going to go hand weapon and charmed shield. Is that even good? It gives us a once per game 5 at ward save, but it makes our armor save worse. I actually don't think that's good. I want a third defensive item is the problem. But the character that's soaking all the hits for the Tomb King definitely needs to be tanky. I think the BSB just sort of rocks it with a great weapon and says, please don't pass wounds to me. He's still pretty beefy. He's got 5 wounds with a 4 up armor save and a 5 up regen. So he's not like squishy at all. I think this is the best version of that. Alright, then we've got the Tomb Guard with... Alright, you've got no magic resist in here. That's the main thing that I'm looking at. So let's give the unit champion MR2. Also, it'd be really nice to have the extra unit strength and impact hit, like on the... is it Desk Mask? No, it's the Icon of Rulership. Like, this is really good. I just don't see a way to fit it in, unfortunately. Which is a shame. It would make a pretty big difference to their output. And then this unit has Terror and no magic resist and Icon of Rakaf. Okay. So you've got one unit that's going to kill stuff and one unit that's going to kill less stuff but get into better positions. I think I can live with that, honestly. But I think the way we do it is we drop one of the Tomb Scorpions and we just make... Oops, I've not dropped a Tomb Scorpion. I've added another Tomb Scorpion. So we're going to go 2. They've got ambush so we can keep the drops low. And then we're going to go with giving this unit also magic resist. Oh, we can't, because they cause terror. Do we care about them causing terror? I guess it's fine. It is fine. Yeah, okay. Okay, still fine. See, I think I would want to run... You can't even run Horse Archers, they're special, right? Yeah, I want something to stand on an objective. But what? Honestly, you know what would go really hard here? A unit champion skeleton chariot. I understand that it ups your drops to 4 instead of 3, so you're a little bit less likely to go first. I think it's worthwhile, because it buddies super well with the Tomb Guard, the Tomb King chariot, so it can just soak challenges. And then we have to shave 15 points somewhere, and this is a very hard list to shave points on. So... I feel like, is the terror that useful? I mean... Do the character chariots get the 4-up save now? They should do, because they're just regular skeleton chariots, right? Oh, did they not get FAQ'd? Oh, that's so sad. That's a classic. That is a classic Games Workshop. Buff one thing and don't touch the other thing. God damn it. Yeah. I know I say always take musicians. I feel like for punchy fast units that don't ever need to test for marching, that's where you can shave musicians off. So we can drop a musician here, still be 2 points over. God damn it. Where the hell am I getting those 2 points for? I just don't see a way to do it. Marching greater than all dead. Yeah. There's just nothing I can shave, is there? I don't know. I don't know. I'd also quite like this model to have like a burning blade or something. So there's some more magical attacks in there. But then we're 7 points over. Oh God. It's the problem with this style of list. Like, where the hell do you shave points from? Yeah, they can't march, they can't rally. Like, if we go down to 6 here, and then we've got points to trick things out, but we don't have any way to trick anything out because what have we got? So it might just have to be we don't put this unit champion solo model in, which is a real shame because I think it's very good. And there's also nothing that we can fit in points-wise, right? So it's maybe just like a lone model. It would be so much better. Like, it's still buddies for the Tomb King because of the impact hits and the attacks, but like it's nowhere near as good if it's not a unit champion. I just don't know how to get it to be a unit champion. I think the answer is that we have to drop the death mask. I think that's the only way the points work, and I'm not a super huge fan of that anyway. I would like the musicians back on if possible. Yeah. Like, this is probably what I'd go with, and then we can make this unit champion have the Burning Blade. So that's the tweak that I'd go with. Boom. Replace it with horses with a champ. I think you can only take skeleton. Yeah, you can't. You can only take like a cavalry cohort, which is 115 points base, because you have to take at least 5 of each. You can take them in here. Skeleton horse archers, I don't think do the same job, honestly. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that works. And then just have a quick look at the 500-point lists. Prince in a chariot. Again, you're killing me. Give him some bloody weapons. Oh, we can't have that. That's so funny. He's just got a hand weapon. And then here... Yeah, okay, this looks fine. I mean, it's 500 points, so it's the priest. Keeping the priest alive is going to be interesting. Yeah. All right, no, that looks fine. It's the 2,000 point one that I think was the more interesting version of the list. All righty then. Cool. So there's a couple of lists left to do. Oh, Spartan was here. Sorry, Spartan. I should have done your list earlier when I saw you in chat. Apologies. So Spartan 75, I don't know if you're still here, but they say, I'm a player returning to the old world from 40k, hell yeah, and looking forward to my first 1500 point event. I'll warn you, I'll try and make a Midland themed list because I have some old Teutoburg Guard I've been holding on to since I was a teenager 20 years ago. And then there was some more context on that, but it didn't fit into my box and I didn't realise, so let me just scroll up and see what we've got here. I hope this is at least somewhat playable and looking forward to your feedback. Okay, we can do somewhat playable. Honestly, yeah, this seems kind of somewhat playable. So 1,500 points. You've got the unit of veteran state troop. This is one of the best things that Empire can do in terms of their core. I like it. Very solid. You've got 8 Knights of the White Wolf with Magic Resist 2. Standard Bearer, but no standard. Honestly, like, this is maybe a Totem of Wrath angle. I could see Totem of Wrath going hard here. Getting to that AP3. Oh, can they not take... Oh, they can only take 25 points. That's very sad. That's very sad. Bummer. I forgot about that. Alright, that's fine. Then the archers as a detachment. I think this is a pretty okay scoring unit. This is the sort of only way that I like seeing detachments taken, which is just, hey, here's a scoring unit that I'm going to put down at the same time as the state troops to keep my drops low. Then we've got the Teutoburg Guard, who I don't think are doing anything at all, frankly. But that's okay, because it's fine to have a pet unit. 204 points for 13 models for like Empire makes me really sad, though. That's so pricey. A single Hellblaster Funny Gun. I like to see them in pairs. That is definitely my preference. And then we've got a load of characters. So we've got a level 3 Tome of Spellcraft Demonology Caster. Got a level 2 Lore Familiar Battle Magic Caster. What's the thinking there? Oaken Shield and Arcane Urgency? I don't know if you need a Lore Familiar Battle Magic level 2. That feels like it's... I'm not sure it's going to add all that much. Then you got a Priest of Ulrich with a Witch Hunter's Ward. I assume going with the veteran state troops. Yeah, like that loadout. And then we've got a general Witch Hunter's Ward. Okay, so you've got Magic Resist, Magic Resist. Okay, yeah, so all of your stuff is MR2. Cool. Okay. This makes sense. Hey, Spun! I was going to grab Oaken Shield to throw in the vet state troops. That's not awful. That's not awful. But, like, we're paying 20% of your points for these two wizards. I'm not sure that between the two of them, you get all of the points back. Like, if you want to do that, honestly, I think we just drop the Master Mage, and this wizard maybe just becomes a Lore Familiar Battle Magic caster. So you can put Oaken Shield on the unit of veteran state troops. I'm assuming you wanted to Steed of Shadows the Teutoburg Guard up the board. You can Arcane Urgency them up the board, and honestly, they're going to struggle to get the charge off that they want anyway. So not having the demonology spell is kind of whatever. And you didn't have the consistency of picking your spells anyway. So I think we can shave some points by just going for a Wizard Lord with battle magic here. Honestly, Ruby Ring of Ruin would be good on him, but I think we don't necessarily need it because it's going with a unit that's aiming to be melee. Engineer on foot, Priest of Ulrich. Yeah, and then I think we just go for a second Hellblaster Volley Gun. And I think suddenly this list is actually, like, it's a very tabletop Warhammer strength of list. I think if you're coming up against stuff in the meta, like, I don't know how you deal with dragons, for example. I think you will struggle to deal with even Vile Tide spam, because, like, Magic Resist 2 is nice, but they've got, like, so many pluses to cast. I think the top end of the meta you'll really struggle to deal with, but if you're playing against, like, more tabletop Magic, if you're going to Club Knights or anything like that, I think this has got a lot of punch at that sort of like lower powered tier. Seed in the Garden, Demonic Vessel, if I roll into it. Yeah. If you're doing that, Lore Familiar Power Scroll is the way to go. And I don't hate it, I just don't know that they're a unit that you want to do it with. Could 2 cannons work? 2 cannons is fine. Like, the cannons are good. But again, like, I think at that point we're dropping the Teuton Guard and probably the Priest of Ulrich. And that's where we're getting there. So that's 300 points, and then that's adding 2 cannons, and that immediately makes the list better. So what I'll do is, here's the version that sort of stays true to the what you were kind of looking at, and has your favorite models in. But if we want to make it a bit more cutthroat, we go for a second engineer. Why are we too many? Oh, is it really only 0 to 1 per 1,000? Ah, oh, bugger, I forgot we were at 1,500 points. That's a pain in the ass. Alright, sorry, you do need to tweak around with that. So yeah, this is where, honestly, maybe even just going triple cannon. Triple cannon, 1 Hellblaster Volley Gun, and then you shave 2 points somewhere. Like, I don't think this is anywhere near as fun, honestly, as the other list. But if you're looking for just, like, raw power, then this is the direction I would take it in. We need to shave some points here. I don't want to shave... I think it might be the Charm Shield on the General, because he's already got the... He's going to go in the unit with the caster that's casting the ward save, and you just drop him down to a normal shield. Like, this is maybe the direction that you go in if you want to just make it as cutthroat as possible. And I say that with, it's not, yeah, it's it's Empire, so it's still going to be not the most cutthroat. But yeah. Yes, yeah. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, Daniel. If you join the Discord on a Friday, I will open up the channel on the Friday morning, put an at everyone, and at that point you can post your list there to be fixed. And if you look at the pinned comments, you can see what the priority list is for me getting to people's lists. Shifting to Wild Hunt. Maybe. I mean, it's just, I think if you're going that direction, you're just saying, hey, I'm going to play Double Dragon. And if you're playing Double Dragon Wood Elves, I think Wild Hunt might be the better version of it. If you don't go Wild Hunt, you're saying, I think there's something here, and I can try and run around my opponents, and I think I can get enough oomph out of them. Wild Hunt is just, I'm going to coin flip, I'm going to lose some matchups, but I'm going to smash some other matchups. So it's like a more... I think it's a very 3-2 capped army, in that some matchups you're just like, I can position my power and do well, and then other armies you're like, oh, I have no way of interacting with you, and that's going to be difficult. Whereas with Wood Elves, I think you don't have matchups that you smash, but I also don't think you have as many matchups that you really struggle in. I think you've got more ability to play. It basically just becomes undead are very hard for you to deal with. Okie dokie. Where are we up to here? I think it might be Wood Elves. More. Yeah, I like Wood Elves more. I think, especially, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. All right, so Tonk has submitted Renegade Lizardman. Reading my Sanity 1 Renegade list at a time, I know what you're going to say. My only comeback is that Spinosaurus is the best dinosaur, and the Trog is the closest to a Spinosaurus because you can't get the old blood on his back if you use the frill. Yes, I am going to say that the Troglodon is horrendous. Has anyone looked at the Troglodon? I've seen people try and convince me that it's good, but I really disagree. So you're paying 200 points. You've got a T5 model with 5 wounds. It's only got 3 attacks. It doesn't have Swift Stride, so it's move 7 but slow. It has 2 flat stomps, but it's a monstrous creature, so no AP. So nothing here is like particularly exciting, and it's very squishy. It's only got 5 wounds, T5, heavy armor. It doesn't have a regen or anything like that. It's immune psychology, so you can't run away with it, which means that if you're in the bad position, you are in a bad position. What you bring it for, realistically, yes, you'll be a level 1 wizard. I guess we're going probably illusion for the -1 to hit, but it's realistically going to be for the Primeval Roar. Once per game. I don't understand why this is capped to once per game. During the command subphase of their turn, this model may attempt to unleash the Primeval. So you've got to take a leadership test on its own leadership test. So what's the leadership on it? 8. Okay, actually not so bad. I thought it was going to be lower. It's been a while since I've looked at this. Friendly Lizardman units within 7 inches gain a Furious Charge. Once per game. What have we got in this list that wants Furious Charge? Huh. Basically nothing. So, yeah. I mean, I think within the context of what he's done, I think the list makes sense, right? So you've got the Slan with a Lore Familiar, double power scroll, Soulless Stone. I don't remember what that is. You can change the miscast. Sure. I think Becalming Cogitation is just so good that it's nearly impossible not to take it, especially in this meta. Also, I'd love to see some sort of banner on there, but I guess you've got Monster Hunter banner already. Better than a giant. I actually think a giant might be better than that, and it hurts my soul to say, but because T5 with a 5-up armor save is objectively squishier than T6 with a 6-up armor save, you've got 1 less wound, and when you're in combat, you just don't do anything. You've got 3 attacks here. You've got Venomous Talons, so you are at least, AP2. I guess it's just normal talons, but with poison. I think I'd take a giant over that, and you know my feelings on a giant. You specifically know my feelings on a giant. So yeah, I'm not sold on this thing. Having stubborn, you know what? Having stubborn's nice. I'll give them that. But so we've got a single Carnosaur with Great Weapon and Glyph Necklace. Glyph Necklace is Magic Resist 2 and 5-up Ward Save. Skink Chief on a Pterodon, Icon of Fortitude, Charm Shield, Burning Blade. That's fun. That's fun. I like what you're doing here. I guess you're specifically trying to hunt down... I mean... Is it not just better with, like... I guess a Cavalry Spear is not very good. Is it better to go for a Biting Blade? Because you've got 3 attacks, right? 3 attacks at Strength 4 with Weapon Skill 4. If you go for a good weapon, you'll at least do a little bit of damage. Because right now, I think you lose combat into War Machines with what you've got. So I think maybe... Like, the Charm Shield's great. Does it get you up to a 3rd wound? The Pterodon? It must be +1 wound, right? +1 toughness, +1 wound. And you start at T3, right, for a Skink Chief? Yeah, so you're T4 with 3 wounds. I mean, you can't drop things if you go Ripidactyl, but, like, do we just drop the Charm Shield and you get an actual weapon? There's not, like, a 10-point magic weapon that's half decent, is that? No, of course there's not. Not for Lizardman. I don't know, I feel like maybe it's the Cavalry Spear. But I know if I change it, you're going to tell me that he's specifically for hunting down Banshees. So I'm not allowed to do that. Yeah, I like the Icon of Fortitude, though. I'm a big fan of that on the 360-degree charging models that can go into the backfield. Yeah, so... I don't know that we need 2 Power Scrolls, right? Because if we're Legacy, then we're getting a reroll to the casting roll. So I think 1 Power Scroll's fine, but I actually don't even know if you need any of them. Oops, I've gone 3 instead of 2, instead of 1. High Magic. I also don't know that I love High Magic. I feel like Elementalism is really good here. Troglodon for the Arcane Vassal. It does have that rule. I don't know that I massively value it, but that is correct. You've got the ability to channel a spell through it. Hey, Oak Boy Phil. Good timing. We'll be wrapping up soon. This list is kind of an orc list, you know, because it's green. I hate the Burning Blade on the unit champion. I feel like if you're going for a magic weapon, make it a half-decent one. Because you've got halberds, so you're losing like 3 attacks in your front rank. I'm not going with a Burning Blade on that. I'm not going with any magic weapon on it. You've got a slan. Like, how much are we really worried about ethereal? Like, I'm not worrying about ethereal. In fact, I'm going to remove the Burning Blade here and put a cavalry spear on it so it can actually do its job. I just think that's so much better. Yeah. And then we've got the Bastillodons with solar engines, the Stegodon with the engine of the gods. Yeah, this is like, I think you've made pretty decent choices across the board, which is 13 points over. Haven't changed much. Like, I still wouldn't go high magic. I understand why you've gone high magic. Obviously, Drain Magic is good, or like Drain Magic as well. I still don't like it. Walk Between Worlds is good. Fiery Convocation is okay. Tempest is very good in some matchups. Fury of Cain is okay. I don't rate it super highly, to be honest. Shield of Sapphire is whatever. I'd be going Elementalism, probably. I think that would be my bias here. And then we just drop the skinks down a little bit. You've got Vanguard on 2 of them. Yep. So I think we just have to shave 1 more model. But yeah, I think the list was basically there. It's just you should drop the Troglodon. Like, if we, in fact, you know what? I assume you're going to watch this back. So I've left the list. Hold on. I'll put it back in and I'll link it with this. And then I will do the second version of the list, which is, put that in. We drop the Troglodon. And something that I think is worth at least playing around with is the... Oh, God, you have to put a BSB in the squad. You have to put the BSB in the squad. I forgot about that. That's so sad. Oh, no, you don't. There's a magical standard. It's down at the bottom. It's just laid out really poorly. Cool. So, like, something like this and just go, hey, let's party, you know? We do need to shave points here, so I think it's basically we just drop 1 unit of skinks. With 15 points over, so we go down to 13 on each unit. Like, this is the other version I'd look at. Where it's like, what if we went with the cold ones? Because this unit has so many attacks, it's not even funny. You've got 4 attacks per model. 2 attacks on the rider, 2 attacks on the cold one. They are strength, with the Totem of Wrath, you've got 2 attacks at strength 4, AP 1, rerolling 1s to wound. You've got 2 attacks at strength 5, AP 2, rerolling 1s. That's just like a genuinely punchy unit. Yes, they're very squishy. They're T4, but they've only got a 4-up armor save. Oh, we need the Cav Spears as well. I missed that. God damn it. Okay, I haven't linked it already, so I need to... Honestly, let's just go down to 20, then put these back up to, like, 14. I think that makes more sense. Something like this, and then we can just go 15, 15. Yeah, sure, whatever. The actual mechanics of it don't matter too much. I think you could play around with the core all day, but the actual important bit is on there. Cool. Spellucci Rex on the Team Guard. I'd rather go to double Obsidian Lodestone. Like, when you've got the Halberd, it feels rough to give that up, because that way, if you've got the magical hand weapon, the Spellucci Rex, you're not ever able to get the 3-up save between your parry save. You're not able to use the Halberd at strength 5 AP2 on the charge if you ever get it, or in the overrun. So, like, I really don't like the Spellucci Rex there. It's not a bad suggestion, it's just specifically because you've got 3 attacks. I want the Temple Guard to be punching. I need to remind myself, do the Saurus have obsidian blades? They do, yeah. I mean, maybe. I'd still feel like there must be something with Saurus Warriors. I know we're not in the meta for it, but just at its core, you're paying 14 points, which is pricey, but you've got a Strength and Toughness 4 model with 2 attacks each, with a 3-up save and AP1 hand weapons. Like, that's just solid. I just don't know how to make it work. I haven't tried much, and other people will have tried, so it's probably just unplayable. But I feel like there's something there. All right. Well, thank you kindly. As old boy Phil says, half you need to like. Oh man, what do I don't know what I do when you're not here. Like I'm so late to asking people to give me a thumbs up, a thumbly wumbly. But this is going to be the end of the stream. What are your feelings on the No Dragon Wolves of the Sea list? I know we talked about Warriors of Chaos today. Okay. Do I think it is better than double dragons? No. I think if you want to play double dragons and you're not worried about getting the triple dragon in, and you want to go like you're happy going either with more core that's very tough, and you do like that sort of denial list, I think the double dragon list is the best way to play it. If you just want to play Warriors of Chaos without dragons, I think you can make a good Wolves of the Sea list without. I don't think it's as good as the dragon list. On the tier list, I think I put Wolves of the Sea in A tier, the one that I did on Tuesday. Wolves of the Sea without dragons, I would put in B tier, but I think you could still play them and have some fun with them and have some success. But the question becomes, do I want to play the best Warriors of Chaos list, in which case dragons, or do I want to play the best Warriors of Chaos list without dragons, Wolves of the Sea? Wolves of the Sea do that very well. Cool. All right. I have absolutely just ruined myself this week. I've just about. It took me until Thursday evening to catch up on all of the work that I was doing. I should have booked off Monday and Tuesday, so that's a learning lesson for me, post streaming, because that really took it out of me. But I've booked off the next 2 days, and I'm gonna just relax, and it's gonna be nice. I'm really looking forward to just having a couple of days where I don't do much. Hopefully, any of you in chat who want to do something have got some plans for Valentine's Day. I do not. It's a bit weird being single on Valentine's Day for the first time in 8 years. But in my relationship, we never really did much on Valentine's Day anyway. So it's not that weird. But yeah. Might get some Valentine's Day chocolate. Oh no, I'll wait until the Sunday. That's the best thing about holidays in my mind, when the reduced price chocolate comes in. Although I'm trying to eat better, so yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right. Hope you all have a great weekend. Thank you to everyone who's here. Thank you again to everyone who's been super generous, even to the point of making me uncomfortable. But I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I'm not reading that. All right.